action in the NTT IndyCar Series for 2019. It's the season opener, and we welcome you to NBC Sports coverage of the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. It's round 1 of 17 on a beautiful day in Florida. 24 cars, 24 drivers, all wanting that maiden victory of the year, and a really nice crowd on hand. Marty mentioned it a little earlier about the weather. It's broaching 80 degrees. It has been a wonderful week here in Florida, and the weekend has been just perfect. Yes, it's warm, but it's nice weather. Threatening weather nowhere to be seen. So it is all good. It's all green for the beginning of the season. Let's head down to pit lane and kick things off with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Hey, Lee, Team Penske had one goal in the offseason. They had a December meeting where they said, we have to get better at the street courses. Well, St. Pete is a street course. And guess what? Team Penske, even though they struggled Friday and a little bit on Saturday, they locked out the front row with Will Power winning the pole and Joseph Newgarden starting outside of him. Can they finish 1-2 today, though? That's what they would love to do. Kevin?
Well, right behind Team Penske, it's Chip Ganassi Racing starting in the second row. We already know Scott Dixon is a legend, a 5-time champion. Only AJ and Mario have won more races, but now he's got support. Felix Rosenquist. No one has finished higher than 7th as a teammate since Dario Franchitti retired, but Rosenquist has met early expectations. He actually out-qualified Dixon yesterday. He's going to start third, and he might be ready to win, not just support his teammate, Kelly.
Andretti Autosport finished an incredible 1, 2, 3, 4 at this race back in 2005. They've got a strong 4-car lineup again today, headlined by Ryan Hunter-Ray, who showed top 3 speed in every practice session this weekend. He lines up 5th, just ahead of teammate Alexander Rossi. Zach Veach and Marco Andretti round out that team's lineup. Robin?
Well, the good thing about the IndyCar Series, Kelly, it's competitive as hell. The second best thing, lots of different people can win. Well, let's be realistic. Andretti, Ganassi, and Penske win most of the championships and most of the races. But there's one team that thinks they can challenge, Sam Schmidt and Rick Peterson. They've had Arrow as their sponsor the last few years. Now Arrow is their co-owner. Arrow's got a lot of money. They want this team to make the next step. You got James Hinchcliffe. They've won 7 races in the last 3 or 4 years. So guess what? Maybe we'll have a big 4 someday, Lee Diffie.
They're looking for it. That's the goal, Robin, for sure. So Hinch knows what it's like to drive to victory lane here. We'll see if he can do it again today with his new teammate Marcus Ericsson. 2 Swedish drivers in the championship this year, and both of them rookies. So Ericsson and Felix Rosenquist. So there's something quite new. Not many Swedish drivers have been in IndyCar over the years, and 2 of them here in the series for 2019. There in the Gainbridge Honda is Zach Veach. It's been a scrappy weekend for the driver from Ohio. He's looking to clean it up in the race and come away with a good result. He had a really promising and satisfying rookie season last year. Now it's time to take that next logical step up, but it is going to be tough here. So everybody assembled. All the talk stops now, but there are some very important words to be spoken from 2-time Super Bowl winner, one as a player, one as a coach. Here is Tony Dungy for the command.
The wait is finally over. It all starts here. Time to kick off the 2019 NTT IndyCar season. St. Petersburg race fans, are you ready? It's time for those most famous words in all of sports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, Pro Football Hall of Fame head coach, NBC Football Night in America analyst, and former head coach of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tony Dungy.
Drivers, start your engines.
Tony wasn't wasting any time there. He wants to go for that 2-seater ride with Mario Andretti.
He looked a little conflicted there. A bit like my face when I went skydiving for the first time. He's not sure if that's a good idea. Gotta hurry up and get that helmet on, get those earplugs in, and get that ride from Mario.
I think what's a really satisfying thing is to see somebody as famous and successful and as accomplished as Tony Dungy is, and just how thrilled he is to have met Mario Andretti, let alone go for a ride with him.
And now Tony realizes the full gravity of the situation here. They're quickly trying to buckle up the helmet, get the radio plugged in, and Mario, cool as a cucumber as always, up front.
And when we bring you the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500 this year, in the lead up to the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, of course, the previous event to the 500, there is a special documentary drive like Andretti, and it's of course in honor of celebrating Mario's 50th anniversary of winning the 1969 Indy 500. Look forward to that. So everything looking good with the Honda 2-seater, and Mario just eases away along with NBC's own Tony Dungy. We're going to see if we can connect with Tony now. Tony, it's Lee Diffie in the NBC Sports IndyCar booth. Can you hear me? booth. Can you hear me? So it's a little tough to hear in there. We might just ease back and let Tony enjoy the ride. Enjoy a really special ride. And by the way, next in 2 weeks' time at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, three-time Indianapolis 500 winner Helio Castro-Neves will be driving the two-seater. Now, for the first time, we've heard Tony. Hey, Tony, going to try again. It's Lee Diffie in the NBC Sports booth. Can you hear me?
I just heard him say, wow.
That'll do.
I'm going to say speechless. I'm going to say speechless.
And having a great ride, so that's good. Hope Tony's enjoying it. Mario will certainly give him a great ride. And meanwhile, let's take a look at how they will line up today for 110 laps with the Firestone starting grid. And for the 55th time in his career, Will Power on the pole.
The pecking order of power players is all at the front of the grid. We got Team Penske on the first row, followed by Ganassi on the second row.
Watch out for this action. Felix Rosenquist has shown up with authority for his rookie race here in the IndyCar Series, out-qualifying Scott Dixon, but these two gunners are going to come from behind.
So it's all Penske, followed by all Ganassi, followed by all Andretti Autosport with Ryan Hunter-Reay and Alexander Rossi on the third row of the grid. Big hats off to Jack Harvey in his first, well, it's not quite a full season, it's a 10-race season. For Meyer Shank Racing, to qualify 7th was outstanding.
Colton Hurd disappointed yesterday. He made a small mistake, held up a car, but watch out for him in the race. And then there's Simon Pagenaud was really frustrated that he didn't even get a lap in qualifying.
His words were very straightforward and simple, Townsend. He said, we didn't even get to play.
How about this guy? Marco Andretti didn't even turn a single lap. He ran out of fuel because the fuel line wasn't connected on his out lap for qualifying. Marco Andretti very fast this weekend in practice. He's going to be on a charge.
Qualifying yesterday was quite strange. You know, with the three phases of qualifying, in the first phase, the first segment, there's two groups. Group 1 had multiple red flags, and a lot of drivers were hurt and hindered by that, not being able to actually get out there and turn a time. So let's take a closer look at this street course.
Well, if it all starts down in turn 1 with the big funnel effect, that super wide airport runway, you can go 6, 7 cars wide, but by the time you get to turn 2, it's a car and a half, maybe. You wind to the backside over to turn 10, heavy braking as you come on to Dan Weldon Way. You go through those S turns, 11, 12, and then the final corner, 180 degrees. And as I said, Paul, this is where the passing happens.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sucker hole here, guys. It's super wide, and guys are going to dive down the inside. You got 8 lines, really easy to lock up. But here's another spot. If you get off a good run off turn 3, you can get a nice shot down the inside of turn 4.
Next opportunity on the back straight. It's got a little bit of a kink there. It's actually more than a little bit. It feels like a real corner. You're pretty heavily loaded as you come to the brake zone. Try to get inside somebody in 10, but if you're outside, it's trouble.
Let's walk you through the various views that we will enjoy throughout the course of today's season opener here in St. Pete. And this is what we'll get to look at thanks to Gallagher aboard the Carlin Chevrolet, the 59 machine with Max Chilton. David Yerman Honda, belonging to Santino Ferrucci, will give us this view. He's carrying the helmet cam as well as a bonus for the young American driver. Gainbridge supplies this view, and that is for Zach Veach. We spoke about the Andretti Autosport driver earlier, and Graham Rahal. And the United Rentals on board has this view. These perspectives gives us so much, and how busy they are. The drivers are around these street courses. James Hinchcliffe, we spoke about him before. This is the Lucas Oil view for the Arrow Schmidt Peterson machine. And we've got more to bring you as well. Plenty in it. Auto Nation and Alexander Rossi and his teammate at Andretti Autosport, RHR, Ryan Hunter-Reay, up ahead. And his camera also brought to us by Auto Nation as well. Determination personified right here. Captain America wants to get it done here in his home state. And then you've got the NTT data car for Chip Ganassi Racing, Felix Rosenquist. You'll hear us talk about the 27-year-old Swedish driver many, many times. So a new principal sponsor in NTT. You've got new drivers, you've got new teams, and it is a new season. There is a lot to cheer about in IndyCar Racing 2019, that's for sure. It's an all Penske front row. Once they get into that start zone, Will Power has the power. He dictates how the field will start, and he's gone. Power takes off. Scott Dixon's looking for a way through on Newgarden, and he can't. Hunter-Reay on the inside of Rosenquist. Power's taken off, and the rookie slides into second.
Big jump by Hunter-Reay, trying to get down the inside. He got pitched off by Dixon. But everybody gets through turn 1 clean as they run down the back straightaway.
Alexander Rossi backed off a little bit in 1, but then challenged his teammate Hunter-Reay. So Rossi is up to 5th, Hunter-Reay back to 6th, and they're clean all all the way through turn 4.
Rosenquist up to P2. He's made a move on the Penske car and has moved his way into P2. Big traffic back here. You saw that pink Auto Nation Honda for Meyershank Racing of Jack Harvey. He was forceful with Charlie Kimball. There he is, tucked in behind Ryan Hunter-Reay. Then Kimball, then Graham Rahal, Hinchcliffe, Pagano. And then the Ed Carpenter cars are in the mix as well. But it's Will Power, the two-time winner here on the streets of St. Petersburg, who gets a clean, clear start and has taken off.
Watching Rosenquist, Paul, you mentioned it. What a start for the rookie. Taking Newgarden in the opening few corners and now opening up a really nice gap to Newgarden. There you see Rosenquist in the blue car, and here comes Dixon on Newgarden.
Talk about a start as I'm looking at the timing board. Andretti up to 14th from the back of the grid. Let's take you back to the start. And Ryan Hunter-Reay, is there contact with Rosenquist? There sure is.
Sure was. Yeah, he had to back it off right there, and then Dixon turned in on him right here. He had to shut it down, and Rossi came around the outside.
Marty? And he came on the radio right after that and kind of apologized to his team. They said, that's okay. He said, it got bottled up on the inside. I had no choice but to back off. But Ryan Hunter... These front wings so much tougher than they were a couple of years ago. You can stand to rub a little bit now that we're in a unified aero kit. It used to be that stuff would go ripping off like balsa wood.
Jack Harvey held his position on the start. He's sitting in P7 right behind Hunter-Reay. He needs to just sit there and ride and learn off these guys, get a good result.
Meanwhile, for two-time and defending winner Sebastian Bourdais, he's gone backwards. He's lost a spot, 19th to 20th. And look at Felix Rosenquist in that blue NTT Data Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. He has caught ground on Will Power. And the big mover in the pack, Ed Jones for Ed Carpenter Racing.
Ed Jones in the first race for that new partnership with ECR and Scuderia Corsa, the Italian Ferrari team in GT racing. They've been thrilled with that partnership, and this is a great start to the race.
He's made up 3 positions from the start. Takuma Sato has made up 4. So a couple of big movers in the pack. Meanwhile, up front, Will Power, Felix Rosenquist.
Rosenquist now catching the back of Power. Power is a master of saving fuel. Rosenquist has been driving cars with no fuel, Formula E, so he's got to learn how to save fuel.
And Kevin, he is challenging Will Power.
Actually, on that point, Paul Barry Wanzer, who is one of the strategists and team managers, said he knows how to save energy. Saving energy is actually harder than saving fuel, so he has experience at that. Coming into this race, he said, I know the golden rule, and it's don't make contact with your teammates. So really, I expected him, if Dixon challenged at all, let him go. But this shows how bold, how fast and aggressive Felix Rosenquist can be. He's off to a great start as a 27-year-old IndyCar rookie with a lot of experience.
It's Penske in Power, Rosenquist and Ganassi, 1 and 2. Beautiful view overhead. Just showing again the Ganassi car starting to come up on that Team Penske Chevrolet of Will Power. Here's Newgarden, then Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Pulling away from Newgarden a little bit. They've got about a second gap. As we slide back to Rahal here, and Hinchcliffe having a nice little battle. Andretti is right there with Herta.
Ed Jones, you saw the flex box rear wing there of the Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet. Jones has now added another one to his list. That means he's made up 4 positions from the start. He's right behind these guys here, in Graham Rahal, who's starting to challenge Charlie Kimball and defend from James Hinchcliffe. And Ed Jones tucked in right behind.
Leaders do it 62.7.
Tough guy to pass, Kimball. He's really hard. He's a late breaker.
5.
Doesn't necessarily like to look in his mirror sometime either. I know Graham and Charlie have had a few run-ins through the years. But for all of these drivers on the softer red compound, I think it's the first race we've ever had in the era of multiple compound choice that everybody's opted to start on the soft tire. And that's because they think, every team thinks these tires are going to go away pretty quick here. So
get rid of them early.
Get rid of them early, but you need to get a stint in, maybe even a short stint, but you have to protect the rear tires, especially on the power down, to get through that first stint, Marty. Yeah, Townsend, first time ever everyone selected the red tire. As you mentioned, we'll see pit stops as early as lap 12 or lap 15. And you're right, the majority of the field going to that primary tire. But guys in the back like Simon Pagano, who didn't even make it out of round 1 in qualifying. There you see him flash through in the yellow Menards car. They have 3 sets of sticker tires. He told me, I want to use that to my advantage today. So we're going to go alternate from everybody else. But most of the field going with those primary tires. And we'll see stops early and often at St. Pete.
What a start. Good clean start, quick pace. Rookie challenging the reigning Indy 500 champion. It's all happening here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And as we said earlier, a great crowd to witness this season opener. Round 1, race 1 of 17. You've got a Hall of Fame football star here. Robbie Wickens is here. What a weekend in St. Pete.
There's a reason drivers have trusted Firestone tires since the very first Indy 500. Drivers like Haroon, Shaw, Voigt, Andretti, Rossi. Because while finishing is hard enough, it's winning that makes you a champion. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado. It's the official truck of calloused hands and elbow grease. The official truck of getting to work and getting to work. Of late nights and date nights. It's the official truck of homecoming and coming home. The all-new Chevy Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. It's the official truck of real people.
I can't believe it.
That we just hit the mother load of soft serve ice cream?
I got cones. Anybody wants one? No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
We struck sprinkles!
Believe it. Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Wondering how they harness a rattlesnake's bite to create Taco Bell's new rattlesnake fries? You can stop. It's just a metaphor. The nacho fries you love, loaded with marinated steak and creamy jalapeno sauce. New steak rattlesnake fries, only at Taco Bell.
Lobster Fest is on at Red Lobster with the most lobster dishes of the year, like Lobster Lover's Dream and new Ultimate Lobster Fest Surf and Turf. So come Lobster Fest today. And now, for a limited time, get 10% off Red Lobster to go.
Let the NHL's biggest names entertain you.
Dowdy one-timer scores!
This is NHL Star Sunday, presented by AT&T. Bruins, Penguins, followed by Kings, Ducks on NBCSN.
A quick reminder that you can get even more IndyCar with the new NBC Sports Gold IndyCar Pass. Watch every qualifying and practice live and on demand by visiting NBCSports.com/IndyCar right now. And we know that many of you have taken advantage of that already. We've had a fun weekend bringing you all the practice sessions. We even got PT out of bed early this morning to do the morning warm-up. As you look at Will Power in the silver Chevrolet, ahead for Team Penske, ahead of Ganassi's rookie Felix Rosenquist. What a start to his IndyCar career.
Unbelievable. It's been a long time, Townsend, since we've seen this number 10 running up front. Last guy was really Dario, and it's been a bit of a struggle for Chip to have a really top-flight two-man team, and this kid is sensational.
Well, remember, Ganassi sort of deviated from their long-standing practice of a two-car team. They went to a four-car team. That didn't work out as well results-wise, and now I think they're fully realizing the benefit, Kevin, of getting back to two cars.
So we've already seen stoppers. Marcus Ericsson was the first to come in on lap 7. This is Takuma Sato, front wing change. Remember, he's been fast all weekend, but a penalty in qualifying put it back, Kelly.
And this is the rookie Santino Ferrucci. He brought out a red flag during qualifying, so he started from the rear. A little bit of a slow stop there. You see, they've also put the primary tires on this rookie driver.
Yeah, qualifying did not go to plan for the youngster from Connecticut, who we saw last year. He made an impressive start to his IndyCar career. This is his first full season and one of 5 rookies in this year's championship.
And here's the problem. There goes Ferrucci on cold tires, full fuel, and the leader, Power, is just coming through turn 1, turn 2 now. So we'll have to see if this starts to play a factor with lap traffic. There's Power. They're about 5 to 6 seconds back, so we'll see what happens.
And Kevin mentioned about Marcus Ericsson of Arrow Schmidt-Peterson pitting early with a new set of tires on. Ericsson has just set the fastest lap of the race. Kel?
And Spencer Pigot also getting called to pit road. As you see there, that's the force of Matthias Blaine. He also had some strong moments in practice. He and teammate Tony Kanaan going 2 totally different directions throughout these practices, trying to find something that will work for both of them. They've got some work to do, as neither of them had a particularly strong qualifying effort.
Back at the front, Will Power. He boasts just over a 1/6 2-second lead over Felix Rosenquist. Third is Joseph Newgarden. Then Scott Dixon, starting to ease out, isn't it? The gaps in between these top 10 runners. A larger gap from Hunter Ray back to Jack Harvey. Then Charlie Kimball, who's only doing 5 races this year in the Traceba Chevrolet for Carlin Racing. One of those 5 will be the big one, the 103rd running of the Indy 500. And here's Marco Andretti. Troublesome qualifying yesterday, left him at the back. Kev?
Yeah, they couldn't get any fuel. The fuel intake was a problem, so we think he might be quick. He's been quick in a couple of practices. Going to the primary Firestone, front wing change, and Marco Andretti is back out.
Marco's big news for this year is that he's got a new race engineer as we watch Bourdais exit. Mark Bryant is Andretti's new engineer, and Mark Bryant formerly engineered Pato O'Ward to his victory to become a champion in the Indy Lights Series.
There you see Sebastian Bourdais coming right out of the pits as well. A lot like last year when Bourdais won from the back. They pitted him early, get off strategy, see if you get lucky from a yellow and cycle to the front. But it's going to be a long day of pit stops for sure with the tire wear right now.
We've basically split the field on strategy. We've got half the cars from 14th down. Andretti was running 13th, 14th at the time, so he was really the last guy to come in. Maybe Veach will come next or Herta, but half the field is split. And here's Rahal coming in early, and he was more towards the front.
So I'm not sure too many want to go too long on these reds. We've heard maybe even as soon as 11 laps, they're really starting to lose life. And everyone started on sticker reds except Joseph Newgarden. And Graham Rahal was in that group. And we've got a yellow. Bourdais is in the wall.
And he is out. It is over. There will be no three-peat for Sebastian Bourdais.
A lot of smoke there. It might not have been in the wall. He might have an engine problem. There was smoke coming from the rear.
There was a rear shot of the carpool heading up towards turn 10, and you saw some flames on the right-hand side of the Sealmaster entry for Dale Coyne Racing with Vassar Sullivan. It's over. The dream of having the three-peat at home here in St. Pete is done for Sebastian Bourdais as Will Power dives for pit lane.
Must have been worried about a full course caution might come out with that car in the runoff, so they're taking the opportunity not to get hung out on the yellow.
But yeah, taking advantage of that, actually, PT. So here's Will Power coming down pit road, the leader, Roger Penske, really kind of telling you to mind the gap more than anything else. It's going to be primary tires for Will Power, hoping to take advantage. And so far, we're still green, guys. They're hoping that a caution will come out and they can jump the rest of the field.
Kyle Novak.
Also, Simon Pagenaud on pit road as well, guys.
Kyle Novak, the race director, told us in our meeting with him that he's going to do everything he can to try to stay green if somebody's safely in the runoff area. So that's the situation with Bourdais, and it was a very late decision from Will Power.
Yeah, it was. Wow, that was like, come in. Very, very late call through the grass, so they must have that they were going to have a problem. But Bourdais, engine goes away, big fire, and he pulls off into a safe spot. They won't go yellow down there, so I don't know if that was a good call for Roger to bail off and call him in.
And that's a pretty big failure on the right-hand side of Bourdais' car.
No yellow for there. They'll just drag that car right there behind the wall, so I don't know if that was a good call by the Penske team to call Will in that late.
But they're in the fuel window, the pit stop window, excuse me. So, you know, they can make it to the end still on 3 more stops. Kevin?
A big break for all these teams are pitting right now. James Hinchcliffe just came in a moment ago. He feared that he was going to be caught out by the caution. Ed Jones also making his debut for Ed Carpenter and Scuderia Corsa Racing in and out and on the primary Firestones.
And what that does is it has given Felix Rosenquist in the NTT Data Car the lead of this race in his first ever IndyCar race.
The challenge, though, for Power and the Penske team is where did he slot back out? Is he in traffic? Is that going to start to slow his pace? Because Power was still comfortably in the 102s up front on the used reds. Now he's on blacks and on sticker blacks.
He's got a nice clear run. He's all by himself. Hunter Ray is about 15 seconds up the road on him. Kanan is 5 seconds behind him. So he has got to put the hammer down right now. If he was in traffic, that would really hurt his overall race distance and time that he has to achieve. But right now, he's going to be going as quick as he can.
Pretty amazing, though. Pitted from the lead under green, and he still comes out in 6th.
20 seconds he is. 20 seconds behind race leader Felix Rosenquist. It's about 25 seconds, the pit lane delta, including the stop.
And we'll have to keep an eye on Power's lap time. That lap, 102.2. That's quicker than everybody in front of him. So this could play out well, Paul, with clean air and fresh tires for Will Power.
Yeah, right now about 7/10 quicker than the leader. And that's what he's going to have to do the rest of the race. He's committed now to not saving fuel and laying down qualifying laps.
That's not the only yellow we're going to see today. We haven't had a yellow. It was a local yellow.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see multiple today. There was 7 or 8 last year from memory, so it was quite eventful. That's what this street course provides as we have a look at Felix Rosenquist, the race leader, first-time IndyCar competitor. Here he is on pit lane.
And he comes in and hits his marks, going from the alternate Firestones to get Speedway fuel, a new set of black Firestones. Solid first IndyCar pit stop for Felix Rosenquist.
Where is Will Power? Through turn 1, so no problem. Job done there for Will Power. And we'll look for Rosenquist in the background, and that is massive advantage to Will Power. Rosenquist was keeping him anywhere between 0.6 of a second to 1 second. Within his reach, and now Power's got at least several seconds advantage.
And Lee, you talk about that delta of 25 seconds. It's very small, so that's not a big penalty. Came out 6, and you talk about that gap he has, that clean road that Paul loves to have. And now all the leaders are going to come down pit road this time, so they pit it on the very front end of the window. It does back them into the fact that they have to run a longer stint on this run, but you know what? They're not worried about it. They're going to run as fast as they can. A second and third place come down pit road right now. Joseph Newgarden, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Scott Dixon also coming down pit road as well. All of these guys going to primary tires, and they asked Ryan Hunter-Reay, can you run 3 more laps? We would love for you to go 3 more laps. He said, it's not going to last that long. Will Power has shot by, so you see Newgarden and then Dixon, Hunter-Reay leaving pit road as well.
Where will these guys blend out? There goes Power. He's comfortably through turn 3 in the brake zone. And look at this, Rosenquist.
Whoa, and Newgarden ahead of the Ganassi driver for the time being, but was short-lived.
Big move on the outside. Cold tires for Newgarden. He tried to defend, but Rosenquist was at speed, had a lap on his tires already.
You really need 2 or 3 corners to get temperature into the Firestone. Now Newgarden has that with Dixon behind, so Newgarden should be able to now comfortably slot into pace. And further back, there's Tony Kanaan, who hasn't stopped. There's the AJ Foyt driver driving the 14. Hasn't been a great weekend for them, but they've stayed out and worked themselves into the top 5 for now. Marty, here comes Rossi.
Yeah, the last of the leaders to come down pit road. And a good call by Rob Edwards here. Just going that 1 extra lap than everybody else. It's going to buy them some time on the back end, so maybe they can short fill on subsequent stops. The Andretti cars have really struggled on older red tires. They put the primary black sidewall Firestones on. Alexander Rossi back on the racetrack. We'll see where he cycles in with the rest of the leaders.
Whoa. Out. Can't really tell who that was, but it was a big moment there as he chopped across the bow. It was Kanaan. So Rossi comes out in 6th place just behind Kanaan, who's not pitted yet. There's Tony. There's Rossi. So Rossi comes back out in the same position he was in.
So Power boasts a 4-second advantage over Felix Rosenquist and then Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon. And Kanaan running in that top 5. Early stages of this 110-lap Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Well, Power came out and said, I was so regretful for the way that last year started. It was all my own fault, spinning, challenging Robert Wickens at turn 2 right about here a year ago. And he said, I put myself in that bad and poor position. Problem for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Another Honda.
Another Honda's had an engine failure, same side. Turbo looks like it's gone away.
He came on the radio and said, yep, it's gone, guys, meaning the engine, obviously, for Ryan Hunter-Reay. And this is the one thing he said we could not have in 2019. They had all the poor finishes because of DNFs last year. Here they are, race 1. Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to be out early.
And that is not good for Tony Kanaan. There is the full course caution. Kanaan was hanging on.
Yeah. Big talk this weekend was that Honda still had an advantage power-wise over Chevy, but right now they've got an unreliability problem.
2 of the big favorites for this race out. Sebastian Bourdais, followed by Ryan Hunter-Reay.
He's got the worst luck, Hunter-Reay, doesn't he?
He does.
He can't believe it. All the testing. And they didn't see any of these issues in the offseason.
And not all weekend either. He's been one of the cars and one of the drivers to watch for the speed and consistency that Ryan Hunter-Reay has had. So first full course caution of the day. Not one for Bourdais, but certainly one for RHR. So the field circulated at a slow pace. Will catch your breath and they'll help clean up the 28 Honda.
Engine here early in the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Ryan Hunter-Reay with an engine failure. And before that, before we got the green, Coach Tony Dungy got to go out in the 2-seater. So how was the experience, Coach?
Unlike anything I've ever done. You know, Mario was telling me, oh, we're going to just ease into it and get going. And we are flying and going around these corners. And it looks like we're 6 inches from the wall. And I'm just amazed at the control that he had.
And they do that with 20-plus cars on the track, too, and much higher speeds as well. By the way, your kids tweeted out something while you were doing the 2-seater ride because they were watching you tweet out. There you go, getting an up-close IndyCar experience. And they're having fun, too.
They really did. We got the whole family over here. The hospitality was great. You know, we've always lived here, and we've known that the race was happening, but never came to experience it firsthand, and it's been awesome. It really has.
There you go. I think IndyCar's been calling him for a long time. Lives here in St. Pete. Obviously coached the Colts for a long time. Good to see you, Coach. All right, Kelly.
Well, Marty, I told you Robert Wiggins wanted to stay involved here with the team at Aero Schmidt-Peterson. You had the headsets on. What have you observed here, and what is Hinch saying over the radio?
He's pretty happy. I think right now is his track position, right? I mean, it's hard to pass here, especially when people are kind of just using the button to defend themselves. But I think he's got a good car. He just has to try, make it work in clean air. But that's what everyone's trying to do in that kind of end of top 10. But you never know. It's a long race. You know, it's a pity what happened with Hunter Ray there. But I think it doesn't really change our strategy very much.
Going green here, Lee.
All right, we're ready to go green, and look at Felix Rosenquist. He is all over the gearbox of Will Power. He's not letting the reigning Indy 500 champion get away. Coming into that restart zone, Power gets sideways.
He got a good start, Rosenquist. He's
Look
right there. He's making the move.
Cautions can breed cautions. Rosenquist in the inside.
Up, but he gets it. Power squares him up. You won't go through there too abreast. He's got him.
Felix Rosenquist makes his intentions clear. Down to turn 4, Will Power will look for an inside line. Pokes his nose out. Is he going to go through it? No.
Almost gets his front wing chopped off by Rosenquist. What a move.
What a terrific job by Rosenquist on the brakes in turn 1 to just keep that tire rolling after a little bit of lockup. That is the sign of an experienced and very talented Swede.
He has done more than 10 series around the globe, both open wheel and sports car. He is an incredible driver. People have been talking about him for years, whether he was headed to Formula 1 or IndyCar. And here he is, and he's making his name for himself in America on day 1.
And he pulled off that move with patience right here in the final corner, coming to get the green flag. And uh-oh, Power has a problem.
Power might have a gearbox problem coming off the last corner, because he didn't get off that corner well at all, and he's going to lose. Oh, big brakes. Huge braking by Power into the turn 1.
I wonder if he didn't get all the way down to second gear. He might have been in third, perhaps, by accident coming off the final corner, because the car accelerated just fine, but not initially.
Hey, here's something we've said before, haven't we, fellas? Dixon and Rossi together on track. Jack Harvey, and then Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, and Ed Jones.
Gotta say, Jack Harvey doing a terrific job today, running in 6th place. Sister car with James Hinchcliffe just behind, but Jack Harvey's been leading the charge. That 3-car effort.
Rosenquist is checking out. It looks like Power is just holding up the whole train. And I'm wondering if anybody's heard anything in the pits, if he has a gearbox problem or he's not getting into second gear. Watch here coming off the last corner if he has another problem.
A little wide there. Newgarden also wide of the apex. I think both those Penske's struggling a little bit with the balance down there.
Rosenquist is starting to streak away. He's got almost 2 seconds over Will Power to Newgarden. Dixon, Rahal thought about it on Jack Harvey there.
And with the strength of Rosenquist, you have to look back to Dixon running in 4th. He's starting to challenge Newgarden. So Ganassi looks to be very strong. And let's take a look at the restart again here.
Perfectly timed by Rosenquist. He just got a good exit, popped out, and then was deep on the brakes, locks the inside tire, releases the brakes, runs a little bit wide. Right here, you'll see the inside tire on the paint. Watch this. Bang, on the brakes. Power squares him up, tries to come through the over-under, but there's no room to get through.
Oh, this is not good.
That is Ed Jones, I believe. In the number 20. Nope.
Oh, and laced.
Maybe both of them are in the fence.
Looks like they might have hooked wheels together. Laced back tire is up, like they've hooked front and rear wheels together. We hope we can get a replay of that for you guys.
And that corner, turn 9, leading onto the back straight, we've always seen issues there, Paul, where somebody jumps in that little short shoot between turns 8 and 9.
You can see there's been 2 cars in the wall there. There's marks.
And sometimes what happens is somebody clips the inside wall with the right front. So we'll have to get a feel for what happened.
And guys, in similar fashion, Matthias Laced went out on lap 28 of this race last year. We've done 26. Let's have a look.
Oh, that was a hard hit, and Laced just probably came around, clipped him.
Yeah. And what happened was clipping the right front. We've seen that with Tony Kanaan in previous years here. If you just get it millimeter wrong on the turn-in, watch this. You break the right front steering arm, and you are a passenger at that point.
You can see the mark on his tire right there. There's a white mark on the tire. So he clipped the inside wall, and it just shot him. Boom, right? You can't even turn the car, and you go right in.
Watch how close Zach Veach comes to hitting him. Wait for it, wait for it. This is Veach. Watch this.
No. Oh! And that's laced. Just
You
feels the right
terrible
corner right
for
off.
Laced because he cannot see through the. He has no idea there's a car there when you're coming through that turn. It's completely blind until it's too late.
So the last caution, the first caution of the day, Marty, was because of the expired engine of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Let's hear from Captain America.
Yeah, one of the favorites today, no doubt, Lee. And what did you and I talk about Friday? We cannot have the DNFs. It happens here early in race number 1. Had there been any engine issues in preseason testing or anything?
No, Honda's done a great job for us. I'm not sure what happened. It just gradually lost power. We'll go back and look at it, of course. It's almost comical at this point at St. Pete. I mean, I started from the pit lane here 3 times with electrical issues, and we just can't really get it sorted at St. Pete. But, you know, it's going to put us behind 8 ball points when it goes for, you know, especially the space picking at Indy and all that stuff. But, you know, we had some promise this weekend. The race car was a bit tough to handle, just a little bit too much push, understeering it. But we'll figure it out. It's a great team behind me, and I'm absolutely loving it. So we'll just keep soldiering on. That's all we can do. I don't know. I don't know what I need to do different. You know, it's unbelievable.
He's had the bad luck here at St. Pete before. He knows how to rally, though. He's done it and won a title before, too, Kevin.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay was not the first to have to retire with Sebastian Bourdais. Unfortunately, it won't be 3 wins in a row in your adopted hometown. What caused the mechanical?
I'm not sure. It's something to drive train, so just lost the drive. So not quite sure. The engine was running, but no drive. So not sure. We'll have to wait and see.
Last weekend, did you learn anything that can help you moving forward in testing for this weekend?
No, it's unfortunately, I think, a pretty mute weekend where we didn't learn anything. I guess we did a little bit in the fact that we tried something on Friday, which really didn't work. Went back to last year's baseline street course setup, and we seemed competitive on Saturday morning, and then no run in qualifying, and 11 laps or something in the race, not even. So, yeah, just a bit of a frustrating weekend for the Steelmaster Honda number 18, but you know, a long season ahead.
The only positive, at least it's a short trip home, about 10 miles from here, back home for Sebastian Bourdais. Felix Rosenquist leads the opener at St. Pete.
And by Honda, an official vehicle of the NTT IndyCar Series. We want to welcome everyone watching via Sky Sports F1 in the UK. Glad you could be with us all season long. It's a great scene here at St. Pete, but not so great for Ed Jones. That was a heavy hit, Kev.
It was. He was a big mover in the race early. First, are you okay? Second, what happened?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I was getting a run on Hinch. I just cut the inside wall at turn 9. We turned the car straight on into the outside wall. You know, it's like for the team after the joke of a qualifying session yesterday. We had to make progress early on. I was trying to do that, and you have to take a bit more risk, but it was all my mistake. And sorry to the team. You know, we had a good race car, and we deserved a good result.
Unfortunately, an early in for Ed Jones with his debut with Ed Carpenter Racing Scuderia Corsa.
The driver from Dubai. He was actually born in Dubai to British parents as Marco Andretti comes in for a stop under this second caution. We'll take a quick break, be back in a moment. It has been Will Power and Felix Rosenquist at the head of this field all day.
We all dream about our next vacation, but some of us turn those dreams into action. The bookers, the doers, they hit that confirmation button and let's goers. Because bookers know that the perfect place to stay is right there for the booking. Be a booker at Booking.com, the world's #1 choice for booking accommodations.
At AutoZone, you get what you need when you need it. Got a today job? Pick it up free same day at your local AutoZone. More of a tomorrow project? Order as late as 10 p.m. with free next day delivery. Getting the job done just got easier.
Lobster Fest is on at Red Lobster with the most lobster dishes of the year, like Lobster Lover's Dream and new Ultimate Lobster Fest Surf and Turf. So come Lobster Fest today. And now, for a limited time, get 10% off Red Lobster to go.
How much for those? For the tubes? He took all of them at double the price. I made a fortune.
Tulips? Tulips?
Who will start me off at 40 guilders?
60 guilder each.
200, 240, 260.
I want more. Give me more.
I'll get it. 6,000. I'll get you my house. Sold. It was overnight.
Why is a tulip worth so much? It's a tulip.
Tulip prices!
If only they had Gainbridge, they could have balanced risk with a straightforward high-rate annuity. As long as there's market uncertainty, there's Gainbridge.
This is Wednesday Night Hockey, your home for great American goal scorers.
Welcome to Impossible!
It's always a show when these guys face off.
In front of the net, he scores!
Austin Matthews has the Leafs liking their Stanley Cup chances.
What a shot!
While Patrick Kane and the Hawks believe the postseason is still possible. It's a push for the playoffs on a Wednesday Night Hockey doubleheader, beginning 7 Eastern on NBCSN.
Still under caution here at St. Petersburg under blue skies. Unfortunately for Matthias Lace, part of the reason we're under caution is because of the crash with your 4 car. What did you see coming around there to turn 9?
Well, to be honest, it was hard to see. You know, he was right there. I didn't have anything to do. I went back on throttle. When I saw I just lost the rear, I placed him. So, unfortunately, not the end of the race that we wanted to. But, you know, sometimes it is what it is. You're just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, I'm sorry for the team, sorry for the guys, and for the ABC. So, looking forward to the next race now.
All right, thank you, Matthias.
Ever since moving from Brazil to the United States, Florida has been home for young Matthias Lace. So what a shame. That's back-to-back years here at St. Pete. It's ended in the wall. Marty?
Haley, we're coming back to the green. Will Power sitting in second. We saw that issue a moment ago on turn 14 where he kind of lost power. That was an overboost issue. The team tells me that is resolved and fine now. But Will did ask a moment ago, what's going to give me the most traction on this restart? They responded map 4, so clearly Will feels like he's had a bit of a deficiency here on these restarts. We also picked up some radio transmission from Alexander Rossi. Take a listen.
Remember what Wickens was doing on the starts last year? We talked about on the walk-around. Yep, copy.
So, guys, everyone thinking about this restart, Lee.
So the restart has been waved off. So despite a lap ago being given the 1 to go signal, the restart has been waved off.
I wonder, Paul, if during a track walk with Rosenquist, they were pointing out, kind of squaring off dramatically that final corner. If you're the leader on a restart, you have the prerogative to go way wide in that last corner and square off the last apex. I wonder what that is. Maybe we'll see it here on the restart.
You do, but like you said when we were at break, look at all the marbles already. Yeah. There's a lot of marbles on the front straightaway already, which is going to cause havoc for the braking zone.
Hey, fellas, let's take a look at the Firestone biggest movers of the race. Santino Ferrucci is up there with 8 positions too shy of the best in Takuma Sato, the Portland race winner and 2017 Indy 500 winner. He's keen to be more consistent is the theme this year, the former F1 driver. So we'll see what he can do. And rookie Marcus Ericsson from Formula 1 last year to IndyCar this year. He sits as the 3rd best mover. Kev?
Well, the yellow helped a couple of people. Now, it's not good right now because Marco Andretti just outside the top 10, and Graham Rahal was around there, too. They both had punctures, right rear for Graham, left front for Marco, so they're way back in the pack right now. Rahal in 20th just came in. Keep an eye on him, though. They're thinking about, can we do this on one more from here?
No. No way they can do it on one more from here.
Do you want to think about that?
I'll need to.
Hey, Townsend, remember, caution breed caution. Yeah. So I think a lot of teams are thinking that the longer this goes with these wide open windows, maybe they could do it on one more.
All right, let's see if Will Power can do to Felix Rosenquist what the Swede did to him. Green flag flies here in St. Petersburg, but Felix Rosenquist is far enough ahead of Will Power. No challenge there, but Dixon on the inside of Newgarden.
Dixon got a nice draft, but he got the nose chopped off by the Penske car, and now he's going to be under attack on the push to pass by
How about
Rossi.
Jack Harvey? Jack Harvey holding off his teammate, sort of teammate, James Hinchcliffe.
Kimball on Pagano in the background as well. The Carlin driver puts his Chevrolet on the inside of the Penske man and gets that position.
Rossi searching for a way by Dixon. Tough to really pull off a pass down here into turn 10. You thread the needle through this wide open, flat out kink at about 150 miles an hour.
Overtake is active at the timer.
Rob Edwards reminding Rossi that push to pass, the overtake is active in the timeline. It's not available on the first lap of a restart, but it is now, and somebody's coming to pit lane. That's Kimball, I think.
Kelly, tell us more about Jack Harvey.
Well, you guys pointed him out on that restart. After the previous restart, the team told them that was absolutely perfect. Text Facebook restart. They wanted him to do it again. He showed it there. He's been battling a little bit of understeer throughout this race, but seems pretty happy with it. They're telling him he's got a lot of push to pass left to use.
Guy who's steadily moving forward there in the background is Pagenaud, but here we see a move by Hinch, but he can't pull it off. He gives him enough room. Oh, they made some contact right there.
Still there. It was just good hard driving. Good hard driving from both Jack Harvey and James Hinchcliffe. It's a leaner, meaner Jack Harvey this year. He sheds some 24, 25 pounds. He said the team, the engineers, the mechanics, they do so much for me. That's the least I can do for them. It's all about performance, and if I can be lighter, that's going to be some free time. And it's Meyer Shank Racing. They are supported in a technical alliance with the car that he's being chased by, the Arrow Schmidt Peterson Honda of James Hinchcliffe and Marcus Ericsson. So it's kind of like a three-car team, but they are separate entities.
And Hinchcliffe is on push to pass. Harvey has not touched it since the start of the race. They get 150 seconds, and Harvey has every one of those skills left.
Pagenaud starting to creep up on the back of these guys. They're losing contact to Rossi.
A little further back in the pack is Santino Ferrucci. This is this chrome David Yearman Honda, the sole remaining Dale Coyne entry. And the veteran Tony Kanaan, they're scrapping at it. Let's hear some radio.
Good job there on the mileage. I'm trying, and Ferrucci's like going bananas in front of me, so I can't really time him pretty well. He's burning a lot of fuel.
While Kanaan's been around for 20 plus years, knows how to play the fuel game. Guy in front of him is a rookie. This is really his only second or third race now. He raced last year at the end of the season. Still trying to figure that all out as he runs a little bit wide there. Some cars up in front here racing with each other. Pagenaud now pulling up on the back of these guys.
Whoa, Colton Herta on Zach Veach. Two young Americans. Colton Herta makes the move. Veach tries to cross him up, but I think Herta will have the advantage going to turn 4.
That was like the Newgarden Mid-Ohio move. He went outside, inside on him.
That was for 11th. Nice work from the 18-year-old rookie. When we see you in 2 weeks' time, I think his birthday's fast approaching. He's about to turn 19. Take a look at this.
On board with Veach. Woo! That was close.
And heads up driving there from Zach Veach too. He could have fought that hard a bit. Maybe one or both would have ended in the concrete wall. Race leader Felix Rosenquist to the tune of 1.5 seconds, Kev.
I mentioned right when we started the broadcast, right before we started engines, that Felix Rosenquist might do more than just support Scott Dixon. He might be able to win, but when I asked him, can you win on debut, he said, top 5 would be a really good result for me this weekend. He's humble, but he does have a lot of confidence. He's never won on debut in a series, but did win in Indy Lights here on opening weekend, race 2 in St. Pete in 2016.
Just think about how valuable that is. The drivers say, you know, it's one thing doing the simulator. There's no replacement for the on-track time, and having on-track time at a tricky 1.8-mile circuit like this in Indy Lights several years ago will benefit this 27-year-old Swedish driver. Tonight, the NHL's biggest stars shine bright on an NBCSN Star Sunday doubleheader. First, Brad Marchand and the Bruins take on Yevgeny Malkin and the Penguins. Mike Tirico with the call on that game. Then Drew Doherty and the Kings head down to Anaheim to face off with Ryan Getzlaff and the Ducks. It's NHL Star Sunday, presented by AT&T, beginning tonight at 7:30 Eastern right here on NBCSN. And of course, speaking of our great pal Mike Tirico, he will be hosting the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500 this Memorial Day weekend. It's time to say hello to a couple of other mates as well. It is Robin Miller and Jan Beekes on the Peacock Pit Box. Hey guys.
Hey Lee, and of course he'll be hosting that from the pit box. It's been repositioned now on the inside of turn number 1, so Robin and I have a great observation platform to see what's happening today. Very interesting on the strategy, what might happen. We'll get back to that, but Robin, really some hard-fought racing into turn 1. It's been a great view.
The best seat in the world is the outside of turn 1, but it's like I told you guys on the NBC Gold Show Friday, as we see our first pit stop here. Felix Rosenquist was 50-1, Lee Diffie, and I told you I was going to bet all my money on him. How would we be looking right now?
Oh, he's looking fantastic, isn't he? As Colton Herta and Takuma Sato are serviced and sent. But Rosenquist is boasting a 1.1 second lead at the moment. That's pretty stable over Will Power.
A long way to go still. We're nowhere near half distance. This is a long race at 110 laps. We're at 42 laps in now, so coming up on halfway. He's just pacing himself right now, able to maintain the gap on Will Power.
43 laps complete. Doing great. Just keep running your laps.
Nice and calm from the pit stand, and for the rest of this IndyCar field, I'll bet they're thinking, man, The last thing this guy needs is experience running up front, because I think they realize that the Swedish rookie is going to spend a lot of time at the sharp end of the grid this season. He's with a great team. He's got arguably the best driver in the history of IndyCar as his teammate. He has all the tools to make a run his rookie year.
These guys right here, Hinchcliffe's having a great fight with Jack Harvey. Great to see Michael Shank's team running up front this year. It's their second year in the championship. We got some radio with these guys. Let's hear what they got to say.
If you're looking for traction, you can stop in the rear bar again. You can also open your hands a little bit more coming off of 14. You're a bit tight. Open your hands to the wall.
So one driver getting coaching on traction and the other one getting coaching on driving. Harvey was getting some coaching from a driving instructor. Just open your hands up, which means release the car, let it run out to the wall a little bit more.
And Hinchcliffe comes to pit lane.
James Hinchcliffe's first stop was on lap 13. He probably could have done a few laps early. He's going to come in. He's been complaining of a little bit of understeer in the low-speed sections, but Taylor Kyle, his strategist, has said, no changes. Hinch said, whatever you say, let's do it. They're going to primary blacks again. Hinchcliffe, stop number 2. Meanwhile, his teammate Marcus Ericsson also set to make stop number 2, and that yellow saved his race because he was the first to come in on lap 6, so he still is right in the window to be able to do it on one more stop.
Ericsson really wants to make a positive impression in his maiden NTT IndyCar Series race. So let's see how it wraps up with still 66 laps to go. By the way, after that recent stop, fresh tyres, new vision, new view. Colton Herter, the 18-year-old, has just set the fastest lap of the race.
2/10 quicker than the rest of the cars in the field. Third quickest lap of the race is Will Power, and then Rosenquist's fourth quickest lap.
Nothing feeds quick laps like youth and impatience. And
let's take a look at the Speedway race leaders, and that is Rosenquist. Felix Rosenquist has led 25. Will Power, who's doing the chasing, now 17. And during that pit stop cycle, Alexander Rossi led 2 in his Napa Andretti Autosport Honda. Marty, tell us more.
Mr. Newgarden sitting in third. A moment ago, Tim Cindric came on the radio, said it's more important for us to catch the guys in front of us than it is for us to save fuel. So, Townsend, I'm wondering, as a driver, those gentle reminders once in a while, are you in fuel-saving mode? Am I in all-out mode? How important is that from the timing stand of the driver?
No, it's everything, because when you're in the cockpit of these cars, you really lose, you have no visibility into the overarching strategy of the race, so you completely rely on the timing stand like a monkey. Just tell me what I need to do. Save fuel, save a lot, save a little, or go fast, and sometimes both at the same time.
Guy who's having a good day, had a terrible qualifying, didn't get even a lap in qualifying, is Simon Pagenaud. He is looking to rebound this year. He was frustrated with how last year went, that he could never really get a good balance on the car in a race. And Veach is here in the pits, Kelly.
Yeah, and Zach Veach has said that he was losing his front end in the 90-degree corner, so expected him to make a little adjustment there as he gets a fresh set of those primary black Firestones.
This has been a more composed day for Zach Veach. He was super lucky not to make contact with Ed Jones, who buried it into the wall at turn 9. So a lucky escape, but he's made the most of it. We'll see how Zach Veach's day pans out. Meanwhile, it could not be looking any better for Felix Rosenquist.
Well, he's got Power closing in on him. It was at 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds, but now he's closed into about 6/7 tenths. We're back here to Pagenaud. He needs a big year this year. He's a little bit worried about his position for next year. It's a contract year for him, so it's going to be crucial for him to have a good season.
Challenge on Jack Harvey here a lap or so ago, and just overcooked it a little bit into turn 1.
Now you see Jack Harvey in that pink number 60 machine has come in. He was just lacking some overall grip by the end of that stint, so he'll get some fresh sticker Firestone tires.
Listen, I think he would argue more that there were other better drives, but the most memorable drive for me for Jack Harvey, the 24-year-old Brit last year, was at Portland International Raceway when the series returned there for the first time in many years, and just the way the yellows came out, he got disadvantaged, but they really started to shine there in that Auto Nation Sirius XM Honda for Meyershank Racing. So this has been a great run, and now Pagenaud has clear track. The freshman can do what he likes.
Yeah, he's been very happy with the balance of that 22 car, so let's see what he can lay down for lap times here. Nobody close up front. That's what it takes to get clean air across the wings of these cars and see what kind of pace you can put. He's got 10 seconds of clean air in front.
Dixon and Rossi just down the road, so he's in comfortable territory now with the top drivers in the series, which is where he likes to be. So he's got to chase these guys down as we look at the leader. Now Rosenquist, Power, right on his tail.
Joseph Newgarden maintains third. He continues to have rearview mirrors full of Scott Dixon, the 5-time and reigning champion. There he is in the PNC Bank Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. And then Alexander Rossi is in pursuit of him. Behind Rossi is Pagano. We've spoken a lot about him. Great job from the veteran Tony Kanaan for AJ Foyt Racing in the ABC Supply machine. He sits in 7th. And then Marco Andretti, Spencer Pigot, and Max Chilton in the Carlin Chevrolet is in the top 10 with 61 to go.
So of these cars in the top 5, right now Alexander Rossi theoretically should have the most gas in the tank, meaning he can probably go the farthest before making his stop. So that'll come into play as we get close to pit stops.
Fastest lap of the race last time for Pagano at a 102.0 as we see Kanaan.
So Tony Kanaan hits from the 7th position as these teams cycle through their pit stops. He's had a very frustrating weekend as they've been trying to get the right setup for the veteran of 301 starts. Now there's scuff blacks going on the 14 car.
And the theme for Tony Kanaan and AJ Foyt Racing this year is let's do the best with what we have got. Probably are bold enough to acknowledge we can't fight for a championship just yet, but let's do the best we can. Last year was a kind of a frustrating year for himself and his rookie teammate Matthias Leist. In fact, it was Tony's worst championship position finish since 2000, so he wants to rectify that as Will Power hits pit road. Marty?
Yeah, pit road getting busy here. Will Power coming down pit road. Roger Penske told him when he went by last time, we're coming next time. So all of these leaders that pitted around lap 13 are coming down here. Power, no complaints with the car. Just that one overboost issue before. Also, Alexander Rossi, you saw him fly by Will Power. He's here on pit road as well. He's going with sticker primary tires. You see further back, Simon Pagano on pit road as well. We talked about how quick they were. They were going to come down pit road earlier, but then they saw Jack Harvey coming down pit road, so they stayed out a couple laps, hoping they could jump him a little bit. We'll see if this early pitting helps these guys in this sequence.
Rosenquist last pitted on lap 16. There are 50 laps in the books already, and here he comes.
Newgarden closed in on him as he seemed to be struggling with the tires at the end of the stint, Kevin.
And before he got the call to pit, they said, turn it up to mixture 1, make up some time. So those in laps and then the out lap coming up, always critical. Stop number 2 from Felix Rosenquist through the lead, legitimately here in his IndyCar debut. Another set of Firestone blacks, and Rosenquist back at it.
Power's coming down the front straight. Here is Power. Look to the right. There is the silver Chevrolet for Team Penske. He's got him no problem.
Got him easy. He was a bit long.
Only problem, though, is
Power. He might not have him.
Oh!
He might lose it on the coming on. It's real slick on sticker tires, but Power has traffic, and that was close.
Spencer Pigot, Rosenquist figuring out what cold tires and full fuel feels like in the heat of the battle.
That was a welcome to IndyCar from Will Power, the reigning Indy 500 champion.
Rosenquist's stop, he was about a foot long on the marks, and that could have cost him just a little bit of time. We're going to see what happens next. When Newgarden pits, Newgarden stayed out, and he was right on the back of Rosenquist when he pitted, so he might have an opportunity to jump him in the pits. We're going to see when they come around this time.
Let's have a look at this one more time. That was spectacular. It was close. Rosenquist on the right in the blue machine. Here comes Will Power. Oh!
He had to get on the brakes. He had to lock the brakes up to avoid hitting him. Look.
And Rosenquist surely had a spotter in his ear saying, inside, inside, watch out. Now Spencer Pigot runs in 4th with Power just behind. Pigot last pitted on lap 21. He still probably has 3 or 4 more laps. He's going to hold up Will Power. Rosenquist is going to have a chance to catch Power and potentially make a move.
Newgarden and Dixon are still on track. They're going to try to jump these guys in the pits. If they've got the pace, I don't think that Rosenquist had the pace. I think these guys are lighting it up on lap time as Newgarden, I think, is on the push to pass.
Newgarden's the fastest car on the racetrack right now. Joseph Newgarden just did a 101.7, and Spencer Pigot's doing 103.2, and second and a half faster is Newgarden than Pigot, who holds up Will Power. That's why that's important.
You know what was nice, guys, when we were doing the pre-race show, sitting right on the edge of the grandstand there in the Peacock pit box, was seeing multiple Swedish race fans in the crowd with their shirts, with the Swedish flags, here for Felix Rosenquist and Marcus Ericsson. Power gets Pigot now.
Newgarden and Dixon still on track. If it goes yellow, they're really putting themselves in the danger zone if they get caught out by a yellow with these guys racing in and out of the pits. We've seen these guys get hurt by that before, but let's watch Newgarden and see if he comes in this time.
Hey guys, Tim Cindric and Mike Hull both very aggressive on the radio, telling both of their drivers, Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon, be liberal with the push to pass. They're both down to 82 for Newgarden, 80 for Dixon. They're trying to build that gap. We've talked about the delta on pit road, right around 23 seconds. Right now, they're 24 seconds above everybody else. Scott Dixon coming down pit road. Again, he used a ton of push to pass there. Dixon hits pit road here with 56 to go, with only 80 seconds left. Compared to some other guys like Felix Rosenquist, he has 101 seconds left of push to pass. Dixon said a little bit of understeer in that car. It's going to be primary tires for Scott Dixon going on, hitting here with 56 to go, and Joseph Newgarden still on the racetrack using some push to pass. There goes Will Power by Scott Dixon.
Dixon's going to come out right with his teammate here, right with Power. He's on cold tires, and so he's beat his teammate out by staying out and running hot laps. Newgarden is going to come out in the lead. He's been laying down fast laps and using the push to pass. He needs a clean, slick stop, and he might come out in the lead.
Clever work from Chris Simmons, Mike Hull, and the team of the 9 for Scott Dixon. Here is Joseph Newgarden. Does he have the advantage? Where's he going to cycle out? This is going to be close.
And here comes Joseph Newgarden, a move by Tim Cindric that could flip the track position in this race and give Joseph Newgarden the lead, telling him to stay out, working that push to pass. He hits pit road, only 78 seconds left of that. And another move, they're going with the softer red tires, not the primary tires everybody else has on, hoping they can again lay down some lap times, Kevin.
Fast stop. Marty, you saw Joseph Newgarden going right around Marcus Ericsson, who just pitted 10 laps ago, and they just radioed in, shut it off. We've got an engine issue, so they're trying to diagnose that. So the rookie from 5 years in Formula One is not having the debut in IndyCar that he wanted.
That's the leader right now. Or sorry, in second, Marco Andretti. Remember, he pitted off sequence, but he's trying to hang on here and stretch this stint as far as he can. But those rear tires have to be fried.
He's not the leader. Newgarden's 3 seconds down the road. He came out and is long gone. He's way down the straightaway there.
Marco in second.
So it's Penske, Ganassi, Newgarden, Power, Dixon, and Rosenquist.
So that traffic for Power being stuck behind Andretti kind of held him up.
And it was earlier than that, too. The challenge of trying to get past Spencer Piggott. It has cost Will Power 55 laps to go here in Florida. What a finish this is building towards.
I can't believe it. Like we're playing 4-on-4 with a barbershop quartet.
Bum, 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 bum. Pass the ball, pass the rock. We're open, just pass the ball.
Nah, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. Yeah.
Shoot the J, shoot the...
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
At AutoZone, you get what you need when you need it. Got a today job? Pick it up free, same day at your local AutoZone. More of a tomorrow project? Order as late as 10 p.m. with free next day delivery. Getting the job done just got easier.
Wondering how they harness a rattlesnake's bite to create Taco Bell's new rattlesnake fries? You can stop. It's just a metaphor. The nacho fries you love, loaded with marinated steak and creamy jalapeno sauce. New steak rattlesnake fries, only at Taco Bell.
Free, 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 free. Free, free, free. Free, 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 free.
Free. Free, free, free.
That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free, 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 free. Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado. It's the official truck of calloused hands and elbow grease. The official truck of getting to work and getting to work. Of late nights and date nights. It's the official truck of homecoming and coming home. The all-new Chevy Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. It's the official truck of real people.
Unparalleled challenge designed to test the world's best. The Players' Championship. Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on PGA Tour Live, continuing at 1 p.m. on Golf, and Saturday on NBC.
Quick reminder that you can get even more IndyCar with the new NBC Sports Gold IndyCar Pass. Watch every qualifying and practice session live and on demand. Go to NBCSports.com/IndyCar now. As we welcome you back, it is action-packed on track. Scott Dixon has got by Will Power. Rosenquist is working on him. Let's find out more with Jan Beekes.
And Lee, of course, there's been some incredible action all over the racetrack, including here in turn number 1, which we have a great vantage point for. But it does come down to that strategy. You talked about Paul Tracy in particular, mentioned the danger zone. Paul Tracy, as well as who we saw for Scott Dixon, and those that waited till the last moment, they put themselves in that danger zone. But now they're all coming back together. Look at this action that we see for this move coming down into turn number 1. That is an aggressive look for Scott Dixon. And now what does Will Power do? Does he push the issue? He does. He retakes that position. But it's time to go back around the outside for Dixon. That is some awesome racing back and forth. Remember, they're a lap or 2 off on their pit strategy. Rosenquist around the outside, also trying to work on power. These teammates pushing hard. Rosenquist right now is thinking, can I stay in the draft? Can I get a little bit of a push here and get something off of Power? Now, Power defends. That's legal as long as he stays there. He did that in reaction, not in reaction to, so that's legal. Some awesome racing here in the tightest parts that we're seeing. From the aspect of that strategy, I think what is so compelling here is that anyone who stayed in that danger zone, meaning that the cars ahead of them had already pitted, then you run at a risk of a yellow flag. Now that is playing out. These strategists are earning their money in the very first race of the season. You can't ask for better racing and a better vantage point from the Peacock pit box on the inside of turn number 1. We'll be back soon from St. Petersburg.
For the technical difficulties, as we welcome you back to the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, round 1 of the 2019 NTT IndyCar Series. And what a day this could be for Joseph Newgarden of Team Penske, the 2017 IndyCar Series champion. He's never won here on the streets of St. Pete and would dearly love to do it again. To do it for the first time, I should say, today. He boasts a 6.2 second lead over Scott Dixon. Will Power, his Penske teammate, is in 3rd. Felix Rosenquist is 4th. And then Alexander Rossi is in the top 5 on a beautiful afternoon in Florida.
And I've been impressed, Paul, that Joseph Newgarden can keep pace on those Firestone Reds. He has 20 laps on the tires, and he still has the measure lap time-wise.
Yeah, the normally talkative Santino Ferrucci, the rookie, has been very quiet on the radio. He came in for Speedway fuel and some sticker black Firestone tires.
So out goes Ferrucci to rejoin towards the tail end of the pack. And here comes Scott Dixon, and now Scott Dixon is encountering the traffic that Newgarden had to deal with a few laps earlier. That's Max Chilton again, and then Charlie Kimball still 1 lap down. Chilton's 1 lap down now, of course.
That time that he lost, Newgarden, that 1 second at times, has now stretched out to 7 seconds, as Dixon now has to deal with these 2-lap cars.
And we're 35 laps to go, so we're just starting to enter the window for making your final stop. It's going to be fascinating to see who places their bets here between Dixon and Newgarden and their timing stance. Who wants to gamble? Who wants to push it? I think the safe play is to pit Newgarden earlier rather than later.
So they're 20 laps into this stint. They're going to be giving their feedback to their engineers how the tyres feel now, knowing that they've got to do 30-plus laps to the end of this race. But Newgarden and his team have played this perfectly. Scott Dixon's trying to negotiate a couple of old Ganassi teammates. First, Charlie Kimball, and then the other Carlin competitor in the Gallagher Chevrolet, and Max Chilton is the next one on his list. What you got, Marty?
Guys, let's chat with Vito Mabruco from NTT. And not only is this your first race as a series primary sponsor, but your driver's doing awfully well. Yeah, he's doing fantastic, isn't he?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, we're really happy to be here, and we're thrilled to be the entitled sponsor for the IndyCar Series. For us, NTT, we're a Fortune 100 global technology company, and not a lot of people are aware of us, and so this was a great opportunity for us to associate with a really great brand with IndyCar. So we're very happy today, and we're looking forward to the season.
You mentioned it's such a big company in Japan. How important is it to get that company recognition here in the U.S., Vito?
Exactly. It's important for us to get recognition both here in the U.S. and worldwide, but also to partner with someone like IndyCar, who's so focused on technology for performance and also to drive the fan experience. We think that's a key component of this partnership, because we really want to drive more fan engagement for IndyCar and the sport overall. So we're really looking forward to working with IndyCar to do that.
We're certainly happy to have NTT. And how about their driver, Felix Rosenquist, right now in 4th, Diff?
Oh, Marty, it's been a stunning debut for Rosenquist. And in addition to NTT being the entitlement and naming rights sponsor sponsor for the series. Firestone has extended their deal through 2025 as the exclusive and sole tyre supplier. And by the way, this is the 20th season that Firestone has been the sole tyre supplier. Acura takes over as naming rights sponsor for the Grand Prix of Long Beach. We're looking forward to that early in the season. There's so much positivity surrounding the NTT IndyCar Series right now.
Tremendous momentum, and I'm watching Joseph Newgarden, and his momentum continues now. 9-second lead over Scott Dixon. He pitted earlier with the Reds, but he's managed his tire wear exceptionally well. And his pace right now is kind of next level, Paul. Really, nobody's in his category.
No, not at all. But Dixon makes a move on his teammate, ex-teammate Chilton, who has held him up for another lap and a half. So that has really cost him in terms of the gap. It was at 6 seconds, and now it's stretched out to 9.5. These guys are going to be pitting here. Pinch, we hear, is hitting the pit lane. Now we're in the window, so these guys are going to hit it in the next lap or two.
And this should be the final stop for James Hinchcliffe. As you mentioned, the window is just opening up, so I'm sure some fuel saved, but it's not massive at this point. A turn of front wing, Hinchcliffe back out. Behind him, you saw Takuma Sato stopped at his pit. He's been here for a couple of minutes. The car wouldn't shift, so they've been looking at the electronics. Sato was running in the top 10, had a good chance for a result, but it's not going to happen. Marco Andretti also coming in. Now, this is a short stint for Marco. He's one of the few to use a second set of red alternate Firestones. This was a short stint, 15. He had to come in and get off strategy because he punctured back out to do the last stint on primaries, but it hasn't been that good for Marco. Car has not been handling well. And Joseph Newgarden is coming to you, Marty.
Indeed, Tim Cindric gave him the track position, and Joseph Newgarden delivered on the racetrack. What a fantastic stint on those red tires. Everybody in the paddock was a little concerned about the wear on those red tires. He did a masterful job, actually gapped Scott Dixon a little bit more, as you guys mentioned. The primary sticker tires going on, and a half-turner front wing to compensate for those primary tires. We'll see what the lead is once this all cycles out.
If you got
when you get a chance, wheel one, Simon's going to pit this lap.
So Simon Pagenaud, his teammate, coming in this time by. It was a really weird season last year for Joseph Newgarden. The high points were 3 wins at Phoenix, at Barber, and at Road America. But then he didn't stand on the podium other than that, so it was quite bizarre, Kelly.
That's the Englishman Jack Harvey making what should be his last pit stop. The team really happy with the lap times he was putting down on that last stint. They went to sticker black tires.
This is really rewarding for Mike Shank and Jim Meyer and everybody associated with the MSR team. Oh, an awkward moment here for AJ Foyt Racing and Tony Kanaan.
Bit of a disaster. The guy went to throw the gun and got wrapped around the front wing as we see Dixon coming in.
Yeah, the guy sitting in second place. The gap was 9 seconds with Joseph Newgarden hit pit road. Scott Dixon coming down pit road. We'll see if the 9 team can gain any time here for Dixon, who's had a little bit of an understeer, but not very unhappy with the car. Pretty happy with it on that stint. You see those primary tires going on for Dixon. A little further down pit road. Will Power on pit road. The pole sitter today, who's led so much of the race today. And also Simon Pagenaud on pit road. Newgarden, long gone, Diff. He's going to hold on to lead easily.
Yes, there was no pressure there whatsoever. Not like we saw on the previous stop, and scrambled back out as Pagenaud comes out in front of traffic. Here's Felix Rosenquist. He inherits the lead, but is due to stop anytime soon. Sensational debut performance for the 27-year-old Swede.
Runs a little bit wide, coming off the last corner. Dives for the pit lane.
All right, same as before, except we got pickings guys set up. We got to come around this group here.
That's Barry Wanzer talking him in. He calls strategy for the number 10 car for NTT Data. Remember, he lost the lead in the last pit sequence. One of the last among the leaders to pit this time. What can they do? Final stop in an impressive debut race in IndyCar for Felix Rosenquist.
Remember what happened to Rosenquist with Will Power last time? I'm looking, where is Will Power? Just coming through turn 1 now. There he is. Let's see if they meet again going down to turn 4.
So this is a lot more orderly. Race leader Joseph Newgarden has that 5.5 second lead, now out to 5.8. So it is very comfortable for the driver from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Uh-oh. This could be a yellow. That is a banner, a tarp, or a blanket.
Somebody must have hit the wall at the turn 1 and dragged the Chevy banner off of the wall. It's kind of offline, so I don't know if they really need to go yellow for that. Well, they'll certainly shake things up.
They went too wide through there. I don't think that would be particularly safe. Not that I'm rooting for a yellow or anything, but
yeah.
Apparently race control saying it's out of the line, but with a stiff wind, that could be on line. There's Rosenquist, and he just got beat by Power again coming out of the pits. And And there's Colton Herta. Now, I was wondering who's going to be the first to make the last stop. I'm pretty sure it's this guy, Colton Herta, having a strong run in the top 10.
Good job. You can reel him in. Keep digging, buddy.
Now, he's got Graham Rahal in front of him, but Graham pitted on lap 70. I don't think Graham could make it to the end with the fuel on board unless he's in super save mode and gets a big yellow.
So then Colton Herta was 6 laps after Graham Rahal on lap 76. So, you know, the race in Sonoma last year, which was Colton Herta's very first IndyCar race, that was not quite memorable. He DNF'd and finished 20th. This has been a lot more memorable.
Now, this was the moment we had just missed. Rosenquist leaving pit lane on cold tires. Oh, Power just got him again. I'm sure Felix is thinking.
So was it Will Power who peeled that banner off?
It looks like it was already down.
Sorry, it was too, yeah.
The banner was down and it got ran over, probably by a couple of cars, and then dragged to the other side of the track. But right now, we see Rosenquist come through 1, 2, 3 down the back straightaway. He's lost a bit of gap to Power now.
Let's walk our way through the rest of the top 10. Alexander Rossi has had a quiet day, but still a strong day in 5th. James Hinchcliffe in 6th. Good championship points there. Remember, Hinch missed the Indy 500 last year, the double points scoring Indy 500, and still finished in the top 10 in the championship. Pagano's in 7th, Rahal, Herta, and Santino Ferrucci.
Firestone tires now come backed by a 90-day industry-leading guarantee, because you can't love them till you kick them. The Firestone 90-day buy and try guarantee. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
We know some resolutions are easier to keep than others. We know what's around the corner is always worth the trip. We know the only thing better than the last adventure is the next one. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, the home of Tracker Boats, America's favorite fishing boats. Your adventure starts here.
At AutoZone, you get what you need when you need it. Got a today job? Pick it up free same day at your local AutoZone. More of a tomorrow project? Order as late as 10 p.m. with free next day delivery. Getting the job done just got easier. Introducing the all-new Chevy Silverado. It's the official truck of calloused hands and elbow grease. The official truck of getting to work and getting to work. Of late nights and date nights. It's the official truck of homecoming and coming home. The all-new Chevy Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. It's the official truck of real people.
I can't believe it.
That there's a lobster in our hot tub?
Oh, you guys. There's a jet. Oh, I needed this. No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on a car insurance with Geico. We could have been doing this a long time ago. So you guys stay in the hotel? Yeah, we just got married.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm afraid of commitment. You know, I'm being boiled alive.
Oh, shit.
Believe it. Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
That guy's the worst.
An unparalleled challenge designed to test the world's best. The Players' Championship. Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on PGA Tour Live, continuing at 1 p.m. on GO, and Saturday on NBC.
Joseph Newgarden wins. Scott Dixon is a 5-time IndyCar champion. You've been watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 4 years in a row. By NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. And by Firestone, drive the tire that drives IndyCar legends. It's been a gorgeous weekend here in St. Pete for the season opener of the NTT IndyCar Series. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, the very first winner of an IndyCar race here at St. Pete, by the way, was our PT. And Marty Snyder on pit road. Marty?
Indeed, Lee, and 23 laps stand between Joseph Newgarden and the win here in race number 1 of 2019. It was a busy offseason for Joseph. He went on a trip to Japan and then proposed to his longtime girlfriend, Ashley Welch. So congratulations to the happy couple. There you see the tweet on their trip to Japan. Got down on one knee like a good young man should. And then a couple weeks ago, actually last week, he was in Nashville, his hometown. He's a Nashville, Tennessee native. Loves his Preds. Got to hang out with our Pierre Maguire there inside the glass. And, of course, Pierre reminded him of that puck that almost hit Pierre a couple weeks ago. That did not happen when Joseph was there. But Joseph did offer Pierre a ride, 2-seater, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Townsend, I'm thinking if I'm Pierre, I'm going to say no, thank you to maybe the two-seater ride at the Brickyard. What do you think? I know it'd be a fun ride, but I don't know if Pierre wants to tackle that one.
Well, if he talks to Tony Junji, he might get a mixed result. Tony looked a little surprised at the experience at the speed, but Mario took good care of him. So if it was me, I'd jump at it.
Well, I can tell you, Marty, that Pierre is going to jump at it. He sent me a text yesterday during our qualifying show. He said, I'm watching the broadcast. I am a new fan of IndyCar and Joseph Newgarden. I loved hanging out with Joseph. I was buzzed by his enthusiasm for the Preds and NHL. And I said, by the way, Pierre, Joseph just told Marty Snyder on air he's offering you a two-seater ride. He said, count me in. I'm all over that.
And he said it's not just for the Indy 500 or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's an open invitation, Pierre. So wherever you want to ride, Joseph's got a two-seater ready.
5 seconds is the difference between Newgarden and Dixon. Can Scott Dixon start his title defense with a victory? Can he get by this man with just 22 laps remaining?
Top 3 guys, all series champions. Dixon, last year's champion, followed by the rookie in 4th, Rosenquist. Rossi fighting for a championship, his first. We know that's going to come in the future. Hinchcliffe running in 6th. And there's Ben Handley, who has quietly ticked off all the boxes this weekend as Newgarden comes up to lap him. Handley with the Dragon Speed team doing the right thing. During all the laps, getting the experience as Scott Dixon continues to try to find a way to close the gap. But the problem for Dixon, he's burned up a lot of the push to pass trying to get around that lap traffic. Right now, Newgarden has 36 more seconds left in the bag, and that's just an insurance policy should they get nose to tail towards the finish.
More than twice as much pushed past seconds left than what Scott Dixon does. So you would say power and strength to Joseph Newgarden. Will Power is a further 4.5 seconds behind this man here, the orange, white and blue PNC Bank Honda, in 3rd place. So it's kind of fairly evenly spread out on the provisional podium sitters. Newgarden to Dixon to Power. Rosenquist maybe denied a podium on debut, but it's been a very solid start.
Kanan pulls over for Dixon, lets him go by to continue the chase. Just down the road is Newgarden, right now at 5.4 seconds. It was as high as 9.5, so Dixon is clawing it back, but running out of time. So 20 laps to go, so we've got a lot of laps, but go by quick here, Townsend.
Yeah, 20 laps, still plenty of opportunity for a caution that could come out. You know, deep in the field, this is when you start to see some wheel-to-wheel battles and guys trying to make something happen that don't necessarily have such a great result in front of them.
Here is the number 20 Auto Geek Chevrolet for Spencer Piggott. It's a Chevrolet driver profile, and he's the first non-Penske Chevy in this field. And Spencer, who grew up and was raised in Orlando, not too far away here in Florida, runs 13th at the moment. Pardon me, I was the number 20, the number 21, Spencer Piggott. Apologies there. So he runs 1 position behind Marco Andretti. Jack Harvey 1 position ahead of him. There is Marco. Jack Harvey's in 11th, and Santino Ferrucci runs in the top 10, which is an impressive run in the sole remaining Dale point entry.
Herta has found his way by Rahal. We know Rahal's light on fuel, probably in save mode, might have to do a splash. So we look at Hinchcliffe now coming up. And there's Rossi.
Haven't talked a lot about Alexander Rossi today outside of the start. I'm a little surprised he finds himself 17 seconds back right now as they run from the leader, Newgarden. And Marty, he had great pace last year here in the closing laps, and it's a top 5 run so far, but not challenging like we might have expected.
Yeah, sitting in 5th, and they were catching Felix Rosenquist and closing that gap a little bit, but then Max Chilton got in their way, and Jeremy Millis is the engineer for Alexander Rossi. He's a big boy. He was not very happy. He stopped all the way down to Max Chilton's pit, about 18 pits away, and told them to their face how unhappy he was with that move. Chilton a lap down. Rossi trying to catch 4th place, and they feel like it cost him a lot of track position. 18 to go. Joseph Newgarden in the lead here at St. Pete, trying to win the first race of 2019.
Sweat! Dedication! Cupcakes!
I'm Michael Griffin.
I'm Brian Arakpo.
We play football together for the Titans.
Now, we own a cupcake shop. We bake, we decorate. I love this new Surface Pro. It's light, it's sleek, it's fast.
I'm able to draw what color frosting we want. We deal a lot with social media.
We have funny videos that we do in the bakery. There's nothing that you can't do on this device. Cupcakes are a great business.
Oh yeah, as long as you don't eat the profits.
It's ready for you. The new Honda Civic Sport is fast-moving,
Engine roaring. Wheels racing fun. Always. Always fun. Racing wheels. Roaring engine. Moving fast. The new Honda Civic Sport. It's ready for you.
Lobster Fest is on at Red Lobster with the most lobster dishes of the year, like Lobster Lover's Dream and new Ultimate Lobster Fest Surf and Turf. So come Lobster Fest today. And now, for a limited time, get 10% off Red Lobster to go.
How much for those?
For the tubes? He took all of them and doubled the price. I made a fortune.
Tulips? Tulips?
Who will start me off at 40 guilders?
60 guilder each.
200, 240, 260.
I want more. Give me more.
I'll get it. 6,000.
I'll make you my house.
Sold. Why is a tulip worth so much? It's a tulip.
Tulip prices.
If only they had Gainbridge, they could have balanced risk with a straightforward high-rate annuity. As long as there's market uncertainty, there's Gainbridge.
Alex from Atlanta took Firestone tires for a drive and said, devil face, smirk face, race car smoke. That's the feeling of ultra-high performance, Alex. Glad you like it. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
And a beautiful day here in St. Petersburg, but so many people up and down pit lane are looking forward to Austin, Dakota. Circuit of the Americas is coming up this year as a new stop on the calendar, and that is something that I know after a recent test with the high-speed corners and so much different than what we see here on a street circuit, that'll be a great addition, Robin, to what we have, because there's so many different disciplines, and COTA is about as far away as you can get from the street circuit at St. Petersburg.
And if we can put on a good race at Barber, a track built for motorcycles, you know COTA's a good race. But I want to tell the booth one thing, Lee. Felix Rosenquist didn't lose this race on the racetrack. He got beat in the pits. They had decent pit stops, but he made the best pass of the race on willpower for the lead. He's going to finish fourth because he got beat in the pits, not on the racetrack.
Well, Robin, hang on. We don't know how they're going to finish at this point because we could have a caution, and that's the point. I think that last stop, the third stop that everyone made, there was a lot of gamesmanship going on. Just like Townsend said, you want to be the first one to make the last stop. Now they're positioned. But if we get a midfield caution, if someone brushes the wall now, it is game on.
I almost hope that happens because this kid, like the pass he made on Will, locking up the front and keeping it going. But the thing of it is, his team's got a good team and they had good pit stops. They just weren't as good as Penske's or Scott Dixon.
Yes, and I think today there was a lot of strategy being played, and there was a lot of risk versus reward. And I think we saw a lot of early pit stops, and that's now spread these cars out a little bit. You know, I don't want to be one saying I hope we have a yellow, but I think if we do, again, that would open the whole game up again.
We just want a small yellow.
Well, Robin, I'm hurt. You used to be my manager and cheerleader for about 25 years. It sounds like you got a new guy over there.
You've been kicked to the curb, son. Felix Rosenquist. But I've been touting him since Stefan Johansson turned me on to him like 5 years ago, and then he won the Indy Lights race here. And I kept, when I wrote the story last year at Pocono that he was going to be on Ganassi's team, you know, Chip got mad at me, and he goes, that's just a rumor. Thankfully, it became a fact.
Speaking of Chip Ganassi racing drivers, I want to congratulate Dario Franchitti, a four-time champion in the NTT IndyCar Series. He's going to be inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America this coming week, and Scott Dixon will be there to present that. Alexander Rossi's going to be in attendance as well. So well done, Dario, from all of your friends here in the IndyCar paddock. Kelly?
There you see the 14 of Tony Kanaan, and a great sight here this weekend is his team owner there, AJ Foyt. Supertex is back. This is the first time he's been back in a race since undergoing back surgery last July. Tony told me he absolutely loves having AJ here at the track. He says he walks around and sees things that other teams are doing. He said, I don't think anybody else notices. He said he's always lifting us up. He also motivates the entire team. And he also said, hey, it's nice to have him out here at the track so he can stay out of trouble back on his ranch.
St. Petersburg, Florida today is the only place you can see two five-time IndyCar champions. One in Supertex, AJ Foyt, the other is Scott Dixon, who's only 3.2 seconds behind Joseph Newgarden now. That lead has come down substantially.
Question is Newgarden just sort of managing the gap and the pace, or is he in a little bit of trouble and Dixon's coming? We're going to find out.
I think Dixon's coming because it was up to 9.5 seconds, and Dixon has just been putting the laps down and clawing it down. It's now down to 2.9 seconds. So,
and that might be the answer right there. Marco Andretti trying to stay on the lead lap. Andretti on the soft compound red tires to finish the race. But there's 20 laps on those reds. And there's Dixon in the distance.
Buddy? Listening to both radios, Dixon certainly pushing Newgarden, more managing the gap, I would say, right now. But the one thing I'm going to point to, guys, push to pass. Scott Dixon has used a lot of it. He only has 30 seconds left. Joseph Newgarden has 63 seconds left, so a lot more time on push to pass for Joseph Newgarden. And the other factor in all this, a little traffic for them, so that's going to make things interesting here with 11 to go.
Well, I'll tell you what'll also matter is Newgarden's having to use that push to pass advantage now, and it's not working yet to get by Marco Andretti. So Newgarden burning precious seconds on the button to deal with slower cars.
Need to jump away from St. Pete for a moment. It's 2.6 seconds the gap. We'll update you on it when we come back.
Firestone tires now come backed by a 90-day industry-leading guarantee, because you can't love them until you kick them. The Firestone 90-day buy and try guarantee. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
We know these memories will last longer than the wrapping paper. We know there's some things you just can't put a bow on. We know the best gift of all is still out there. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, where incredible selection, great people, and an experience like no other all come together.
I've taken some amazing cars for a spin. But the Accord is truly extraordinary. When you find such a beautiful car with incredible performance, plus tons of high-tech features, you never want to get out of the driver's seat.
Race into your Honda dealer to test drive the Accord and see why Car and Driver called it America's best sedan.
Free, 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 free. Free, free, free. Free, 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 free. Free, 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 free.
Free. Free, free, free.
That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free, 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 free.
Is on at Red Lobster with the most lobster dishes of the year, like Lobster Lover's Dream and new Ultimate Lobster Fest Surf and Turf. So come Lobster Fest today. And now, for a limited time, get 10% off Red Lobster to go.
With just over 8 laps remaining here in St. Pete, the gap is down to 2 seconds. It got down as low as 1.3 between Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon. Newgarden was finally able to get by Marco Andretti, and now Dixon has cleared the Andretti Autosport driver as well. And so it's a race over these final 8 laps.
It's been a gamesmanship. We heard some radio transmission that the Honda guys were holding up the Chevy guys, and the Chevy guys were playing fair. Newgarden was all over the push to pass, just trying to get by.
There you see seconds remaining on the left-hand side of the screen. Newgarden used up a bunch. Let's listen to this radio for Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, man, 9 to go. All the Chevy guys let all the Honda guys go by, but it doesn't work the other way.
Tim Cindric on the stand, not too thrilled with the reciprocity.
Well, Graham Rahal just let Newgarden go by real easy on the straightaway. Now he's got Dixon coming up behind him. But we've got a close race here with 8 to go.
Now look at this. Newgarden making a move, but it took several laps, and it still almost didn't happen down in turn 1 as Marco Andretti and Joseph Newgarden came very close.
He really had to brake late and jam it in there, and just like almost came wheel to wheel with him.
Gap down to 1.7 seconds. Ray Hall is on the list for Dixon to clear.
And I would expect Graham to make it pretty easy for Dixon right there.
Tried to make it easy, but kind of held Dixon up quite a bit. Dixon, I don't think, was expecting him to just let him open the door up and pull over to the side over there. And it looked like it slowed Dixon down a lot.
A little dangerous for Graham, too, because there's so many marbles on the track at this stage in the race, especially offline in that section that's single groove. But Dixon back on the pace. 2.1 seconds back now. That last lap, Dixon 3/10 quicker than Newgarden. We'll have to see what happens across the line.
PT, back in the day, did you relish this opportunity to be like Dixon and be a chaser?
No, I'd rather be out front, controlling the pace. It's tough to pass here. We saw how tough it was for Newgarden just to get by Marco Andretti, but Dixon, he's a smart guy. He knows that if he's got the car, he's going to get the points. He's not going to stick his neck out and take a huge risk. He knows how to play the game to win championships.
You guys noticed the banner disappeared all of a sudden from the track? It was on the track there. Somebody's retrieved it, or it's been blown back in towards the fence. It was off the racing surface. Meanwhile, the gap first to second from Newgarden to Dixon has stabilized at 2.2 seconds, 2.3 now. So the Penske Chevrolet driver up front, Joseph Newgarden, who's had this steely determination throughout the off-season. He has trained like crazy, and he was frustrated. He had this mantra of defend the one last year. He wanted to defend his 2017 title. He couldn't do it. He has not been driving anything else in the off-season, hasn't been doing any of the sports car races or off-road races. He's been waiting for this moment, and with 6 to go, 6 laps of the 1.8-mile circuit, he will get that victory. He won 3 times last year, but has been just so eager to get back behind the wheel of his Penske Chevrolet.
And he was a little frustrated after qualifying that he was beaten to the pole by Will Power, his teammate, because he said, I had a sloppy lap. I made some mistakes, but there's no better way to redeem yourself than to go out and drive like he has today. And you talk about last year, Lee, no DNFs for Joseph Newgarden all season, and that's the kind of streak, coupled with wins and podiums, that Joseph Newgarden will need to reclaim the championship this year. But Scott Dixon's going to run them all the way to the end, I'm sure, and there'll be other drivers that have something to say about it. Dixon's still hanging right there at about 2.2 seconds back, though.
So lots of talk, and it's easy to talk about the superstars. How about the rookies a little further back? Colton Herta, here he is, the 18-year-old second-generation racer, son of Brian Herta, who's on the box up at Herta Andretti Autosport. He's controlling Marco Andretti's race. Here's his teenage son, who is the lead rookie at the moment in 8th, and Santino Ferrucci in that very recognizable chrome David Yerman entry for Dale Coyne Racing. The driver from Connecticut is in 9th at the moment. So for 3 rookies, Rosenquist 4th, Herta in 8th, and Ferrucci in 9th. 3 rookies to be in the top 10. Great day.
Great day for Ferrucci. He started way in the back. You can see he's resting his hand up there. He's probably getting a little bit tired now. He's a little tiny guy. So getting down towards the end of the race, he's building up his race fitness, Townsend. This, like I said, he's a very small guy.
Who are you calling tiny? It's all relative.
So coming up to 3 laps to go for Joseph Newgarden, who has not only maintained and composed and kind of hit the reset button, he's now grown his lead by almost half a second over Scott Dixon. It's Penske in 2 places on the podium at the moment, with Newgarden in 1st, Power in 3rd. Power's got multiple seconds, 3 in fact, over Felix Rosenquist, so no immediate threat on Will Power's 3rd place at the moment.
Bailey, you mentioned it a moment ago, last year for Joseph Newgarden, 3 wins, and those were his only podiums. So Friday, when he and I sat down and chatted, he said, that is the #1 thing for us. We have to get the wins, yes, but we have to turn those other days into podium finishes, and that's where we missed it in trying to win the championship in 2018. So Joseph Newgarden, fantastic start if you can hold on for 3 more laps, but at these races where it isn't going well, that's the focus this year, to get those podiums.
And just think about the strength from the captains' teams, and I say plural, in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. What the teams have been doing there, what they've been doing in Australia with Scott McLaughlin in the Supercar Series, and now these guys felt the pressure. Roger Penske told us the other day that these guys, these 3, Pagenaud, Power and Newgarden, came to him and Tim Cindric and said, well, I guess it's up to us now. We've got to carry our end of the deal. Well, they most certainly have here today.
Saw Roger last night in the lobby of the hotel. I said, man, you're firing on all cylinders. They've won the first 2 races in Australia. They got both of their drivers in the chase. A car on pole today for the Cup race. And looks like they're heading for another win today. Big sideways for Hinch coming off the last corner.
And we haven't talked about Hinchcliffe much today, but former winner here, needed a strong start to the season, like those Penske drivers, and I know it's 6th place, but it's a really strong, solid run for Hinch and this team, and they really struggled at points during the weekend. Not a great qualifying result, but they're fighting through it, and they're fighting through that lap traffic. Ben Hanley just getting out of the way as Hinch had big oversteer coming onto the front straight.
And it's a shame that his Arrow Schmidt-Peterson teammate Marcus Ericsson couldn't finish on debut, but it'll be a strong points finish for James. 1.8 miles to go for Joseph Newgarden. So proud of his roots in Tennessee, but has lived now, since joining the Penske organization, has lived in North Carolina. He lives in a beautiful little college town called Davidson. And he's getting engaged, he's getting married this year, got engaged in the offseason. This is a huge year for him in 2019, and he's starting it off the best possible way. And this was a forceful demonstration too. Good driving, good strategy. It was the pieces of the puzzle put together just nice.
And I really think the difference was that decision by Tim Cindric to go with the reds there on the shorter stint and give Newgarden a chance to open up some pace, dominate a little bit there. I thought it was a bit risky, but clearly Cindric and Team Penske had the information. They knew what they were dealing with.
This was one circuit that the 2017 champion has not been victorious on up until now. Joseph Newgarden. He wins in St. Petersburg to get the 2019 season off to the best possible start.
I thought they were going to win for the year.
And this Penske juggernaut continues in 2019, no matter what the series, no matter what the country around the world. And Joseph Newgarden picks up career win number 11.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, I was expecting havoc today with these guys, but that was a nice, clean race and hard racing up front. We had three of the top 5 guys all swapping the lead on pit stops, coming in and out of the pits. There could have been disaster when those guys were doing the over-under, nearly colliding with each other coming out of the pits, but nice, clean race today.
And that continues the domination of this event by Team Penske as well, whether it be Elio Castro Neves, Ryan Briscoe, Will Power, Juan Pablo Montoya. Now you can put Joseph Newgarden's name on that list as a winner of the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Penske continues to dominate the streets of St. Pete. The start of the weekend, they did not look good. They were in the mid-teens, but really gathered it back up for Saturday qualifying.
Teammate Will Power drifts by. He picks up a podium spot behind Scott Dixon, but it is all about the Newgarden family celebrating a victory in Florida. It's always an enjoyable way to kick off the IndyCar year here in St. Petersburg on the shores of Tampa Bay. And it's even better if your name's Joseph Newgarden. You are victorious for the first time at this famed street circuit. And Team Penske celebrate, rightfully so. That wasn't all his way today. He had to work hard for that. Started on the front row alongside teammate Will Power. And Marty Snyder finds himself, thankfully, victory lane.
And what a big win for Joseph Newgarden and Team Penske. They start 2019 the right way here in victory lane at St. Pete. Gonna go give his new fiance Ashley a kiss and the team a little bath. I bet that feels good on an 85-degree day here. Hey, Joseph, talk to me about how you and Tim Cindric flipped the track position #1, and then how key was that run on the Reds to kind of make a gap on Scott Dixon?
Well, we were literally talking about it right before the race. Tim and me were trying to figure out, should we go used or new Reds, and we made the call at the last minute to stay used. We'll have that advantage if we need it, and we used it. It just worked out perfectly. I mean, I can't thank Chevy enough for all their support and what they put in this weekend. Incredible engine. We had everything we needed: fuel mileage, reliability, and all the power. And then the Hitachi car was just, I'm telling you, we really figured things out on Saturday, and it was a rocket ship. So thankful to our group. We have the best of the best working at Team Penske.
Yeah, what did you tell me in the offseason that this was the #1 priority, street courses? So did this answer the question that you figured that out?
Well, we started on the right foot for sure. I mean, I think we made a big step. We felt positive about the step that we made. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. Street courses, I think we feel better on. We got to convert that to road courses now at COTA, and then obviously Indianapolis is still going to be a priority. So let's see where we're at a little later on in the year.
How tough was that lap traffic today? Because at times it seemed dicey. You had to use a lot of push to pass to get around them.
Killing me. It was definitely manufacturers playing good guys with each other, but it was really tough. I mean, I just didn't want to see people in front of me. I wanted to keep running my laps, and I knew I had the pace to keep in front of Scott, but I was just worried about something going wrong. And when you have that many cars in front, that's normally what can happen. But everyone was kind enough, is what I would say. It's still hard, but they were kind enough.
All right, so what did you tell us pre-race? You said The V8 guys have done their job. The Cup guys have done their job. Now it's our turn to do our job. I guess you did that.
A lot of pressure, man. We got to do well at Team Penske. Everyone else is rising up. But that's what we did. We just tried to stay on it today, and I'm happy we could join the other groups.
You guys have answered the bell. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Joseph Newgarden in victory lane, and Tim Cindric, after his hip replacement, has hobbled to victory lane, and a happy bunch here for Team Penske. Kelly?
Scott Dixon finishes this one second, sitting here on the pit wall with good reasons. You've just told me your drink bottle wasn't working that entire race. How physically demanding was this one?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough race. Just we never really had any downtime. It was pretty flat out. We had one caution there, I think, but it was pretty physical, at least with no fluids. But the Penske Band car was really fast on like the first 10 to 15 laps, and we could really pressure the Penskes. But as soon as they got to the latter part, last 10 laps, we just sort of fell off a bit. So we need to definitely work on that. But great day for us points-wise. You know, myself second, Felix in the NTT data car, you know, rolling up fourth is fantastic. Big points weekend for us, and hopefully we can carry some momentum. Still want to win at this place, but huge credit to Joseph. You know, well done. Drove a hell of a race, and nice little battle there with Will. I think it was pretty clean. Hopefully he wasn't too angry with that, but I think it was good.
I'll get to that battle with Will in a moment, but how much were you smelling the blood as Joseph was getting kind of held up by traffic?
Yeah, it's hard in those situations. You know that the lap traffic's trying to stay on the lap. You know, on the lead lap. You know, they're off strategy a little bit. Will kind of got held up a little bit there, and I think it was Marco maybe was racing him pretty hard. I'm not sure who it was in the end. And just got to run. You know, he got a little bit loose out of the last corner. Got to run down the front straight, hit some OT, and got a little bit of touch and go here in the middle. We kind of switched places through turn 2 and then 3. I was just hoping he wasn't going to keep it on the inside of 3 because that would have been pretty hairy.
But to come up so close and yet another runner-up finish for you here. I mean, it sounds like you're taking the positives with it, but it's got to be a little bit frustrating not to close the deal here in St. Pete.
Yeah, you've got to take the positives with it. You know, we've had some pretty rough runs here at you know, St. Pete. You know, typically we don't start the season too strong, but you know, the car feels good. It doesn't feel perfect, so we've definitely got some areas to work on. But it just showed, you know, how balanced this team is. You know, they worked really hard today, covered all bases, and you know, we wound up second. So I thought we had a run there going on. Joseph, you know, once he started to catch some of the traffic, seemed like he eased off a little bit, but it just wasn't enough.
All right, but nonetheless, a solid point stay here for Scott Dixon. Kev?
Felix Rosenquist, in his very first IndyCar race, led 31 laps. You told me before the race, I don't know if we're ready to win or not. We're going to give it a go, but top 5 will be satisfying. Is it?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a bit more in it. I mean, I think some pit stops there didn't really go as planned, but the NTT Data Honda was really good today. I think it was a good enough package to win the race, but yeah, just some small things didn't really go our way, but I'm really happy to be up here. I really have to thank my team, Chip Ganassi Racing, for starting off the season better than anyone could expect, really.
You served notice early on when you passed one of the great IndyCar drivers in Will Power. Tell me about that back-and-forth battle there for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the pace in the beginning was really good, and then I sort of faded a little bit. But it was a good restart, and I was right on his tail there, and was able to go for a move. It was really dirty off line, so it was hard to pull off the move. But yeah, you know, our car was really fast there, and then I think also my driving was, you know, I can work on things, especially towards the end of the race, and I'm sure we could have been more or less that quick all the race, but it's a long race, a lot of impressions, a lot to take in. It's a very long physical race, especially. So I'm really worn out. I have to say, these cars are tough to drive, and I never driven anything like it, but it's a dream come true to just be here and finishing 4th.
Things he can learn, yet still, in his very first IndyCar race, Felix Rosenquist finishes 4th. Watch out for him.
I think that was a fantastic effort to lead 31, to make a big power move on willpower, and then come away with 4th place points was nice. But it's Newgarden's day, and we have got a whole lot more coming from St. Pete. Stay with us. Bring the action in the NTT IndyCar Series for 2019. It's the season opener, and we welcome you to NBC Sports coverage of the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. It's round 1 of 17 on a beautiful day in Florida. 24 cars, 24 drivers, all wanting that maiden victory of the year, and a really nice crowd on hand. Marty mentioned it a little earlier about the weather. It's broaching 80 degrees. It has been a wonderful week here in Florida, and the weekend has been just perfect. Yes, it's warm, but it's nice weather, threatening weather, nowhere to be seen. So it is all good, it's all green for the beginning of the season. Let's head down to pit lane and kick things off with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Hey, Lee, Team Penske had one goal in the offseason. They had a December meeting where they said, we have to get better at the street courses. Well, St. Pete is a street course, and guess what? Team Penske, even though they struggled Friday and a little bit on Saturday, they locked out the front row with Will Power winning the pole and Joseph Newgarden starting outside of him. Can they finish 1-2 today, though? That's what they would love to do. Kevin?
Well, right behind Team Penske, it's Chip Ganassi Racing starting in the second row. We already know Scott Dixon is a legend, a five-time champion. Only AJ and Mario have won more races, but now he's got support. Felix Rosenquist. No one has finished higher than 7th as a teammate since Dario Franchitti retired, but Rosenquist has met early expectations. He actually out-qualified Dixon yesterday. He's going to start third, and he might be ready to win, not just support his teammate, Kelly.
Andretti Autosport finished an incredible 1, 2, 3, 4 at this race back in 2005. They've got a strong 4-car lineup again today, headlined by Ryan Hunter-Reay, who showed top 3 speed in every practice session this weekend. He lines up 5th, just ahead of teammate Alexander Rossi. Zach Veach and Marco Andretti round out that team's lineup. Robin?
Well, the good thing about the IndyCar Series, Kelly, it's competitive as hell. The second best thing, lots of different people can win. Well, let's be realistic. Andretti, Ganassi, and Penske win most of the championships and most of the races. But there's one team that thinks they can challenge, Sam Schmidt and Rick Peterson. They've had Arrow as their sponsor the last few years. Now Arrow is their co-owner. Arrow's got a lot of money. They want this team to make the next step. You got James Hinchcliffe. They've won 7 races in the last 3 or 4 years. So guess what? Maybe we'll have a big 4 someday, Lee Diffie.
They're looking for it. That's the goal, Robin, for sure. So Hinch knows what it's like to drive to victory lane here. We'll see if he can do it again today with his new teammate Marcus Ericsson. 2 Swedish drivers in the championship this year, and both of them rookies. So Ericsson and Felix Rosenquist. So there's something quite new. Not many Swedish drivers have been in IndyCar over the years, and 2 of them here in the series for 2019. There in the Gainbridge Honda is Zach Veach. It's been a scrappy weekend for the driver from Ohio. He's looking to clean it up in the race and come away with a good result. He had a really promising and satisfying rookie season last year. Now it's time to take that next logical step up, but it is going to be tough here. So everybody assembled, all the talk stops now, but there are some very important words to be spoken from 2-time Super Bowl winner, one as a player, one as a coach. Here is Tony Dungy for the command.
The wait is finally over. It all starts here. Time to kick off the 2019 NTT IndyCar season. St. Petersburg race fans, are you ready? It's time for those most famous words in all of sports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, Pro Football Hall of Fame head coach, NBC Football Night in America analyst, and former head coach of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tony Dungy.
Drivers, start your engines.
Tony wasn't wasting any time there. He wants to go for that 2-seater ride with Mario Andretti.
He looked a little conflicted there. A bit like my face when I went skydiving for the first time. He's not sure if that's a good idea.
Gotta hurry up and get that helmet on, get those earplugs in, and get that ride from Mario.
I think what's a really satisfying thing is to see somebody as famous and successful and as accomplished as Tony Dungy is, and just how thrilled he is to have met Mario Andretti, let alone go for a ride with him.
And now Tony realizes the full gravity of the situation here. They're quickly trying to buckle up the helmet, get the radio plugged in. And Mario, cool as a cucumber, as always, up front.
And when we bring you the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500 this year, in the lead-up to the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, of course, the previous event to the 500, there is a special documentary, Drive Like Andretti, and it's, of course, in honor of celebrating Mario's 50th anniversary of winning the 1969 Indy 500. Look forward to that. So everything looking good with the Honda 2-seater, and Mario just eases away, along with NBC's own Tony Dungy. We're going to see if we can connect with Tony now. Tony, it's Lee Diffie in the NBC Sports IndyCar booth. Can you hear me? Hi, Tony, it's Lee Diffie in the NBC Sports booth. Can you hear me? So it's a little tough to hear in there. We might just ease back and let Tony enjoy the ride. Enjoy a really special ride. By the way, next in 2 weeks' time at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, 3-time Indianapolis 500 winner Helio Castro Neves will be driving the 2-seater. Now, for the first time we've heard Tony. Hey, Tony, going to try again. It's Lee Diffie in the NBC Sports booth. Can you hear me?
I just heard him say, wow.
Yeah, that'll do.
I'm going to say speechless. I'm going to say speechless.
Having a great ride, so that's good. Hope Tony's enjoying it. Mario will certainly give him a great ride And meanwhile, let's take a look at how they will line up today for 110 laps with the Firestone starting grid. And for the 55th time in his career, Will Power on the pole.
The pecking order of power players is all at the front of the grid. We got Team Penske on the first row, followed by Ganassi on the second row.
Watch out for this action. Felix Rosenquist has shown up with authority for his rookie race here in the IndyCar Series, out-qualifying Scott Dixon, but these two gunners are going to come from behind.
So it's all Penske, followed by all Ganassi, followed by all Andretti Autosport with Ryan Hunter-Reay and Alexander Rossi on the third row of the grid. Big hats off to Jack Harvey in his first, well, it's not quite a full season, it's a 10-race season. For Meyer Shank Racing, to qualify 7th was outstanding.
Colton Herta disappointed yesterday. He made a small mistake, held up a car, but watch out for him in the race. And then there's Simon Pagenaud was really frustrated, and he didn't even get a lap in qualifying.
His words were very straightforward and simple, Townsend. He said, we didn't even get to play.
How about this guy? Marco Andretti didn't even turn a single lap. He ran out of fuel because the fuel line wasn't connected on his out lap for qualifying. Marco Andretti very fast this weekend in practice. He's going to be on a charge.
Qualifying yesterday was quite strange. You know, in the 3 phases of qualifying, in the first phase, the first segment, there's 2 groups. Group 1 had multiple red flags, and a lot of drivers were hurt and hindered by that, not being able to actually get out there and turn a time. So let's take a closer look at this street course.
Well, Dip, it all starts down in turn 1 with the big funnel effect, that super wide airport runway. You can go 6, 7 cars wide, but by the time you get to turn 2, it's a car and a half, maybe. You wind to the backside over to turn 10, heavy braking as you come on to Dan Weldon Way. You go through those S turns, 11, 12, and then the final corner, 180 degrees. And as I said, Paul, this is where the passing happens.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sucker hole here, guys. It's super wide, and guys are going to dive down the inside. You got paint lines, really easy to lock up. But here's another spot. If you get off a good run off turn 3, you can get a nice shot down the inside of turn 4.
Next opportunity on the back straight. It's got a little bit of a kink there. It's actually more than a little bit. It feels like a real corner. You're pretty heavily loaded as you come to the brake zone. Try to get inside somebody in 10, but if you're outside, it's trouble.
Let's walk you through the various views that we will enjoy throughout the course of today's season opener here in St. Pete. And this is what we'll get to look at thanks to Gallagher aboard the Carlin Chevrolet, the 59 machine with Max Chilton. David Yerman Honda, belonging to Santino Ferrucci, will give us this view. He's carrying the helmet cam as well as a bonus for the young American driver. Gainbridge supplies this view, and that is for Zach Veach. We spoke about the Andretti Autosport driver earlier, and Graham Rahal. And the United Rentals on board has this view. These perspectives gives us so much, and how busy they are. The drivers are around these street courses. James Hinchcliffe, we spoke about him before. This is the Lucas Oil view for the Arrow Schmidt Peterson machine. And we've got more to bring you as well. Plenty in it. Auto Nation and Alexander Rossi and his teammate at Andretti Autosport, RHR, Ryan Hunter-Reay, up ahead. And his camera also brought to us by Auto Nation as well. Determination personified right here. Captain America wants to get it done here in his home state. And then you've got the NTT data car for Chip Ganassi Racing, Felix Rosenquist. You'll hear us talk about the 27-year-old Swedish driver many, many times. So a new principal sponsor in NTT. You've got new drivers, you've got new teams, and it is a new season. There is a lot to cheer about in IndyCar Racing 2019, that's for sure. It's an all Penske front row. Once they get into that start zone, Will Power has the power. He dictates how the field will start, and he's gone. Power takes off. Scott Dixon's looking for a way through on Newgarden. He can't. Hunter-Reay on the inside of Rosenquist. Power's taken off, and the rookie slides into second.
Big jump by Hunter-Reay, trying to get down the inside. He got pitched off by Dixon. But everybody gets through turn 1 clean as they run down the back straightaway.
Alexander Rossi backed off a little bit in 1, but then challenged his teammate Hunter-Reay. So Rossi is up to 5th, Hunter-Reay back to 6th, and they're clean all the way through turn 4.
Rosenquist up to P2. He's made a move on the Penske car and has moved his way into P2. Big traffic back here.
You saw that pink Auto Nation Honda for Meyer Shank Racing of Jack Harvey. He was forceful with Charlie Kimball. There he is, tucked in behind Ryan Hunter-Reay. Then Kimball, then Graham Rahal, Hinchcliffe, Pagenaud. And then the Ed Carpenter cars are in the mix as well. But it's Will Power, the 2-time winner here on the streets of St. Petersburg, who gets a clean, clear start and has taken off.
Watching Rosenquist, Paul, you mentioned it. What a start for the rookie. Taking Newgarden in the opening few corners and now opening up a really nice gap to Newgarden. There you see Rosenquist in the blue car, and here comes Dixon on Newgarden.
Talk about a start as I'm looking at the timing board. Andretti up to 14th from the back of the grid.
Let's take you back to the start And Ryan Hunter-Ray, is there contact with Rosenquist? There sure is.
Sure was. Yeah, he had to back it off right there, and then Dixon turned in on him right here. He had to shut it down, and Rossi came around the outside.
Marty?
And he came on the radio right after that and kind of apologized to his team. They said, that's okay. He said, it got bottled up on the inside. I had no choice but to back off. But Ryan Hunter...
These front wings so much tougher than they were a couple of years ago. You can stand to rub a little bit now that we're in a unified aero kit. It used to be that stuff would go ripping off like balsa wood.
Jack Harvey held his position on the start. He's sitting in P7 right behind Hunter-Ray. He needs to just sit there and ride and learn off these guys, get a good result.
Meanwhile, for two-time and defending winner Sebastian Bourdais, he's gone backwards. He's lost a spot, 19th to 20th. And look at Felix Rosenquist in that blue NTT Data Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. He has caught ground on Will Power. And the big mover in the pack, Ed Jones for Ed Carpenter Racing.
Ed Jones in the first race for that new partnership with ECR and Scuderia Corsa, the Italian Ferrari team in GT racing. They've been thrilled with that partnership, and this is a great start to the race.
He's made up 3 positions from the start. Takuma Sato has made up 4. So a couple of big movers in the pack. Meanwhile, up front, Will Power, Felix Rosenquist.
Rosenquist now catching the back of Power. Power is a master of saving fuel. Rosenquist has been driving cars with no fuel, Formula E, so he's got to learn how to save fuel.
And Kevin, he is challenging Will Power.
Actually, on that point, Paul Barry Wanzer, who is one of the strategists and team managers, said he knows how to save energy. Saving energy is actually harder than saving fuel, so he has experience at that. Coming into this race, he said, I know the golden rule, and it's don't make contact with your teammates. So really, I expected him, if Dixon challenged at all, let him go. But this shows how bold, how fast and aggressive Felix Rosenquist can be. He's off to a great start as a 27-year-old IndyCar rookie with a lot of experience.
It's Penske in Power, Rosenquist and Ganassi, 1 and 2. Beautiful view overhead, just showing again the Ganassi car starting to come up on that Team Penske Chevrolet of Will Power. Here's Newgarden, then Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, Ryan Hunter-Ray.
Pulling away from Newgarden a little bit. They've got about a second gap as we slide back to Rahal here and Hinchcliffe.